chance you have no chance. If you had a chance, you need to run lickety split. But you can't run because you're the baddest. Well, Ric Flair, you know what? I'm not a normal-looking athlete myself. You know what I'm talking about? I've been in the gyms a lot. It's a privilege and an honor to walk out with Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, and the Army tomorrow night.
I am not a happy camper. What is Bully Ray's motivation? No, I love you. I know he loves sugar. But I check my pocket. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no cheeseburger. I know you love sugar, but I ain't got none.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. I'm the man.
Look at a match for the total package like Luger and Super Brawl. Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Bowl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keep winning and winning and winning.
Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about! I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good lucha thing.
I ain't done.
Hit the deck! Yes! We love you, Scott Steiner!
Today, woo, I've got the star and profile like never before.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
Like for a sports show with that beat.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you got two guys back here once again. Hold on one second. Well, I was hanging outside. All right, anyway. Okay. All right, what's going on?
R.I.P. Carrie? Question mark?
Let's call Harry Carey. Okay.
Well, what if the moon were made of ribs?
Never good to be called Harry Carey. Never.
True.
Never a good thing. Never a good thing. But anyway, what is going on, everybody? Wednesday night. I am Boxman. This is Dirt Sheet Dudes. And that is Smark right over there. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I am A-okay. How are you doing tonight, good sir?
Not bad. Not bad at all, man. Been a long couple weeks, but just getting all this stuff worked out, realizing things we can't take to the new house, realizing that it's going to cost me more than just rent to move to a new house. Oh, man.
Tends to be. So which child are you keeping?
Well, we're going to keep all the kids. We're going to... They both need new beds. We need a new bedroom set. We need a new entertainment center because ours is too big. So we need to get a smaller one. It's just wants a new couch. And I'm like, we need a new couch. We haven't had a dryer in 3 weeks. I'm not moving a dryer. I'm just not doing it. So we need one of those too. Man, that's what it's like to move, man. That is what it's like to move.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I could see that. You know, you get in a new house and everything, so you just want to refreshen some of the other stuff that's in the household you got now.
Yeah, but we'll get it all done. We'll get it all taken care of. But just going to take some time, a few weeks. Luckily, we get the keys next week, and then we'll go from there. So,
Very nice.
we're all paid through the rest of this month, so we can do it nice and easy and not have to ridiculously, kill ourselves to get out of here in one day. But, man, is there some news? There wasn't much news until early this afternoon. Obviously, we all know there's some releases and stuff going on that we're going to get into. A little bit of AEW news to get into. But not a ton of news, and then we'll get into, not going to get too deep into it, Smark. I don't think we are. A little bit of double or nothing talk, though. Do have a few little things I want to mention on double or nothing. A little bit of Raw, maybe even NXT. I don't know. We'll see if we get to NXT. But there you go. Well, I guess we can knock out plugs, can't we?
We certainly can.
We certainly can. Give me a second. Let me get some volume right there. Let me do this. And, of course, the high marks. It's Cheeseman. It's Mojo. It's G-Wiz. It's what you should be listening to. And if you're looking for where to find it, it's Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right, 2 T's and Mitt. Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. Find them 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. Check them out over there. One more time, Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right, double those T's. And, of course, we got Bobby Anthem. We got Bobby Blades. They are the Inhumans, and they are on the Inhuman Experience. Go to all your usual podcast platforms and subscribe. And, of course, everything unscripted wrestling podcast. I mixed up 2 words there. Unscripted and wrestling are the same word. They can also be found on the usual podcast platforms, and you can get them on Blog Talk Radio. Matter of fact, I was on there Saturday. We did a little prediction show. Kind of booked the Double or Nothing show. Good time as always. So if you want to check that out, check them out on the usual podcast platforms and Blog Talk Radio. And, of course, Stephen Milan, we appreciate you sharing this show, sir. Find him over there reviewing movies on Letterboxd, BOXD.com/Stephen Milan. That is with 2 L's in Milan. And you can also find us, you know where. You can find us on Stitcher, Anchor, YouTube, iHeart, Spotify, Google. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. It's Dirt Sheet Dudes everywhere. There you go, Spark.
That's right. Mondays, 8:30 in the Middle Mid Podcast Network. Be sure to check out Cheese on Sports with Cheese. Man, we got 2 members of Cheese on Sports in the house tonight. Shout out to Dirk and shout out to Luke. Also, you're going to be sure to check out the Mo Dirk City Machine Guns with Mojo and with Dirk. And last but not least, check out Planet on Tour. This is Planet Rack on Tour podcast with Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave, Sincere, and Yuck Nasty. All 16 episodes are available for your listening pleasure. Be sure to subscribe for season 2.
All right. You know what to do. All right. There we go. We can turn down that now. And shit, man, I guess we get into it.
Let's do it.
Pause this music so there's not a muted playlist playing in the chat room. I guess the one thing, man, we didn't even talk about what to start with. Real quick, let me just get into this. We will get into Raw later, obviously with all the, releases happening. But Raw ratings once again down this week, down to another 2021 low. And you're like, hey, we're only in June. And I'm like, yeah, that's 6 months down the road. And they're still getting lower and lower ratings. The ratings dropped. The first hour was 1.536 mil. Second hour actually went up a little bit, went up to 1.549. And it's the third hour that dropped to 1.168 million that we need to worry about. This is the hour they make all like the extra money that we're all getting tortured for, that literally they are just sucking up our blood money for. That third torturous hour that we all have to suffer through so they can make a couple extra million, dropped down to 1.168 million for that third hour.
Yikes.
Yeah. Aren't you glad we suffered through that third hour? Aren't you? Aren't you glad?
It was quite the journey.
Yeah, some people speculating the journey could be ending soon with all these releases going on, and we'll get into that
Well,
when we talk about
I don't know
it.
about you, but I'm not going to stop believing. I'm going to hold on to that feeling.
Oh, easy there, Journey.
Well, you did say journey. I felt so inclined.
I know you did. That's it. Sometimes you just got to believe. Don't stop believing, Smark. Don't stop believing.
I dare not.
Next thing you know, you're going to get O'Sherry in there. Okay. Oh, no, that was him solo. That was solo. Forgot about that. But, yeah, listen, Raw was not good this week either. Once again, my notes are very minimal on Raw. They're giving us, Smark, we're getting garlic necklaces and zombies and beat the clock challenges. And look, don't get me wrong. I like me some beat the clock challenges, but not like this. We're getting rematch after rematch. Now we've got Shayna talking to dolls. If it's just a stupid doll, why are you talking to it? And why are you calling? At least she used the correct pronoun. She said you. Okay.
That is important.
And they're like, well, I just don't understand why we're not getting viewers anymore. Why are we losing ratings to, the housewives, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, hip hop, Shabba Dabba Doo? I don't even know anymore what show is beating them. But
No, you're right. It's the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Shabba Dabba Doo. Okay. Love that show. But yeah, why would you want to watch the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs when you could watch Shayna Baszler fight with a doll?
Even acknowledge a doll. Is Alexa the crazy one, or are you now fucking insane because you're actually acknowledging the doll and telling the doll you're just a stupid doll? Well, then why the fuck are you talking to it? My God, you're making ventriloquists look sane.
I have no response to that.
Again, don't get me wrong. I like me some Jeff Dunham. Not going to lie. I've seen him twice. He's funny, actually. Very funny. But man.
Okay.
Talking to a fucking doll. You're telling a doll that you're talking to a doll, and you're telling her she's crazy. My God, this is a fucking mind fucking a half here. Anyway, I guess we'll get to that later, but I think a lot of people's worry is that who they're going to blame this on. They always got to blame someone. I'm sorry, Smart. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Please.
Well, what you're saying, they always got to blame somebody. They usually blame it on the person holding the title unless they really want that person to hold the title, then they make excuses for them.
Yeah, and I haven't seen many excuses come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'm saying. And yes, I do believe eventually they're going to blame Bobby Lashley for this, which, he wasn't even wrestling this week. He was just in backstage segments partying. I know he was banned from ringside, but not the whole goddamn night.
Yeah, he was having himself quite a bit of fun, wasn't he? He was having himself a nice little sexy party.
There you go. Just back there partying like usual. But, it's okay, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get through this real quick. You know what? Let's just get through Raw. Basically, we just really got into what the core of it was.
That's kind of my attitude anytime I watch Raw. Fuck it, let's just get through this. Do it.
Really, we really just got through Raw, pretty much. The Memorial Day video was very good. Corey introduced us to the new Jimmy Smith guy, who, I'm not going to lie, I think the guy fit in well.
I think he did a good job, actually. I was seeing some people shit on him, but I enjoyed it. I thought he did a good job. He seemed like somebody who actually wanted to be there and was not an automaton, so that's a step up from what they had before.
Yeah, he didn't seem skittish to be there. He jumped right in. He felt like he wasn't trying to overexert himself in the conversations. I thought he did. I really just thought he kind of, he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He didn't try to talk about anything he didn't know anything about. I think the guy did fine. I think he just kind of blended in, and by the end of the show, you were like, this guy might do okay.
It's sad to say it that way, but sometimes it's really the best you can hope for with WWE commentary is that they just blend in. They're inoffensive.
Yeah, I mean, no one really listens anymore anyway, so what the hell. But yeah, once again, we did have Morrison with a garlic necklace on in case zombies came up. I don't know if he knows that's vampires. I mean, everyone knows that, right?
Vampires. Well, yes, he was saying that he was preparing for any type of evil that may occur: zombies, vampires, plumbers. He even mentioned plumbers.
Well, I mean, you never know. But I mean, I don't know if there's any sort of scent or spice that can get rid of zombies. I guess that's something we need to look into. Because that's something we need to dig into. Like I said, another beat the clock challenge. Nikki Cross won again. She beat Charlotte this time. Yay.
If zombies like brains, then I would guess maybe Axe body spray, because usually people that I smell wearing Axe body spray tend not to have them.
Just put on a tap out shirt. They'll never attack you.
Mm-hmm. You just fucking hold the 4 Loco out and just back up, bro.
Just buy one of Jerry Lawler's shirts. They'll fucking...
Oh my God. How does he not have a fashion line? Like, he shouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that he's pitched numerous times. Of just like for men that like to wear fucking glittery t-shirts when they're 50 plus.
He might. I'm sure he sells those, dude. Got to. He's got to.
God, those things are off.
He's got to. But I guess if we're going to pick out some good stuff on the show, Randy versus Xavier was a really good match. It was quick, but it was a good match. Riddle lip-syncing Randy's entrance theme might have been the best part to me. But Randy hits the Bro Derek this week. They're trading finishes. This has been over-expected for how long they've kept this going for.
Oh, yeah, we only gave it about 2 weeks, so it's kind of well exceeded our expectation in terms of time frame, and I'm A-okay with that. I like what they're doing.
That's all I wanted was 2 weeks, and I'm getting more than I expected, so I'm just going to take this all as bonus stuff and just be very, very thankful for what we're getting. I'm going to be grateful right now. That's what I'm going to be for that. So that was good stuff. Smart, got to ask you, what do you think about Reginald and Shayna? Kind of Reginald got a couple little moves in there, a body slam, a couple little cross bodies.
Yeah, I mean, it was better. I don't like when they do the male-female matches because they don't, and I kind of get why they don't let the male really get any offense in, so it doesn't really stay competitive as sort of a squash match. And I don't enjoy watching those in any variety that they come in. But with this, like you said, he actually got a little bit of offense in, and he ended up actually picking up the win. So it's about time that good old Reggie finally ended up on top for a change.
There you go. No, I'm not going to. I'm just going to stay away from that one. Well, he did win.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
I mean, he did win because there was a sudden explosion. Suddenly, Kane came back and made one side of the ring explode.
Well, he's getting older. You can't light up all 4 posts these days.
No, one at a time. Gotta take it in take it all in steps. But yeah, like I said, we had the Shannon. And I mean, what? I mean, please, you had your U.S. champion get pinned twice in one night on one show.
Mm-hmm.
Kofi versus Drew was really good, and that's about really all I got to say on Raw.
Yeah, Kofi versus Drew was good. I'm just a little disappointed that as we talk about how redundant Raw's gotten, that we are once again getting Drew McIntyre in the world title match, and once again against Lashley. So it's like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's how quick we just got through Raw, and I think we actually, Luke, take it easy, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah, most definitely. But I don't know, man. It's just, and you wonder why you're losing viewers. You wonder. I don't wonder. I know why. And I think the bad part is a lot of us know why, except WWE and Vince McMahon.
Right.
So,
And I mean, I guess if you want to, you can kind of make the excuse that it was a holiday, but it was a holiday where people get the day off work and stay home. So,
yeah, most people are barbecuing at home or at someone else's house who will turn, it's just most people aren't that busy on Memorial Day. I had the day off. Didn't do a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do it.
Same.
We took a break where we're like, no, we're doing nothing. Okay? Not even packing. We're doing nothing today. So that's what we did. Absolutely nothing on Monday. So it was nice to have that day off. But again, I mean, they can sit there and piss and moan and wonder why they're just not getting, we're just not getting viewers. We're just not getting this. Well, there's a reason. Because your show sucks. It's not compelling. It's not making people watch. It sucks. It's awful. It's redundant at this point.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that makes me laugh is that they dedicate so much time to recaps during the show, but then they put the same shit over and over again. It's like, well, if you didn't watch 3 weeks ago, you'll get to watch it again this week.
Yeah. Why should you watch 3 weeks ago when you can just jump on in and catch right up? Yeah. No reason to watch. Pay no attention to those pesky little, watching things. It's just not worth it, man. I don't know. I'm so, like, literally at this point watching Raw, I'm just like, okay, let's make it through this show. Tell you, man, I think we should just not even bother anymore. Telling you.
A message of hope from your friends.
Yeah. And obviously, AEW is back on Friday, right after SmackDown this week. So we will not be talking AEW tonight. But we do have some AEW news that we can get into before we do the couple little reviews. Double or Nothing, and I guess we'll knock out NXT. Maybe might be that same speed as Raw. But Cody Rhodes was on a media call and confirmed that they are going to introduce soon, didn't give a date, but will be revealing the trios or the 6-man tag team championships. And that's what he said. We're going to have new trios titles. So 3-man tag teams are coming to AEW. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure this is the best idea.
I mean, they have a problem in the sense that they have a very big roster at the moment. And they're kind of struggling to keep everybody involved. So it does kind of open up the opportunity for more people to do more things. But at the same time, it's the same amount of TV for the time being until their new show starts. So it's going to kind of be one of the biggest criticisms with AEW that I've seen from a lot of people, not so much me, but from other people, is that there's too much going on. It feels too busy. Nothing gets really any time to sort of settle or resonate. But it's probably going to be more of that moving forward. But I mean, that's not really a big problem for me necessarily.
Well, I mean, we've said before the show is chaotic, but it's controlled chaos usually, so it's not horrible. But now you're getting into throwing teams together, throwing other guys into tag teams. It's just, this becomes more of a clusterfuck. You're right. It does give, a lot of people more time on television to do more stuff. But it's also just, like I said, you're throwing these teams together now. You're going to be throwing guys that don't belong in established tag teams in just to put the titles on them and get them over. And, maybe this guy can be the breakout even though he was not ever in the tag team before. I'm hoping this is bullshit.
I mean, with them, though, they do have a lot of stables. So there are a lot of multi-men stables and a lot of opportunities to people in stables or put people in trios where it doesn't feel thrown together. It just feels like members of that stable competing. So it's a little bit less kind of how they do, like, just as an example, the women's tag division in WWE, where they just fucking throw anybody who isn't doing something in there. It's going to be a little bit more orderly than that, I suspect, at least.
I think it's going to be the exact same as that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see. And like you said, there's still the potential that this doesn't end up happening, because, I mean, I've been hearing about this for a while now. Obviously, there was a whole pandemic that happened that kind of, threw a monkey wrench into those plans. But we've heard this before, so we'll see.
Pandemic? What is that you speaking? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there was a bunch of pandas.
Oh. Sammy Guevara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good job, Sammy. Good job. Speaking of AEWs and speaking of another release, I guess we could say, old Willie Urbina, AEW's Spanish language announcer, he was fired. I guess he was mocking Hikaru Shida's accent during Friday's live Dynamite, and he was caught on a live mic doing it. I don't think I have audio of it. I'm kind of glad I don't. But it could be heard during a commercial break on Fight TV. So if you were watching on Fight TV, you heard this. If you were watching the Spanish side of it, and literally during a commercial break, it was for an international viewers. Right before they were starting to celebrate her 1-year reign as champion, he said it, and looks like he was gone like the next day. They were like, gone, out of here, bye, see ya, beat it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understandably so. They can't really, especially the sort of, how they tout themselves to being a more progressive company. They can't have that shit going on. You can't have the announcers making fun of somebody's accent, especially with the amount of diversity that they have in their roster. That's a sticky situation indeed.
Well, it says here, Urbina, Alex Abrahantes, Thunder Rosa, and Dasha Kurit's mics were left on during the break when Abrahantes instructed Urbina to do Shida, as in translate her promo. Urbina then twice did a stereotypical imitation of the Asian accent, following by Rosa telling Urbina to stop. There is a clip. Shit. Hold on.
This is going to be interesting because I'm presuming it's in Spanish. So we're going to hear like a multicultural, bilingual racism.
Yeah, I guess so. Here, I'm going to see if I can get it to pull up here. It said it's on Twitter, so you take this off. Let me hit this. Let's see if it pulls up. It's pulling up. It's pulling up. I'm turning on volume. Yes, it is going to be in Spanish. Let's see. It's 17 seconds. Come on. Oh. Would have helped if I had sound.
Willy, que haga Shida. ¡Cállate! ¡No manches! Le voy a aventar la pluma si usted no se lo avienta. Ya habla inglés. Qué malo.
Pausado. Bonito.
Oh, yeah, not even knowing what he said. That's fireable.
Yeah, you can just tell.
Look, man, plenty of sports announcers have gotten fired for saying even less and made slips. What was the one basketball guy that said one of the Asian players had a chink in his armor and they fired him for it?
I don't recall. That does sound familiar. I can look it up here if you'd like.
That was one. I mean, they've fired people for just slipping and saying stupid things. And unfortunately, this is 2020, 21, and you cannot slip. You cannot say things like that, or you will get fired. And you deserve to be fired or canceled, whatever they want to do. Again, I'm not down with the whole cancel thing, but sometimes you just this isn't cancel. This is accountability, consequences. Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah, so I think this was Ron Darling. I think this was a actual baseball announcer
Okay. That's that.
Yeah.
All right. Baseball. Okay.
I guess unfortunately, I guess it was during the MLB playoffs, so they had more eyes on them than ever.
Yeah.
It was on TBS, so I guess there's a little bit of a tie-in to AEW too.
Yeah, I guess a little bit there, but all right. Give me one sec here. All right, Smark, you had a AEW one you threw in there, and again, we're kind of teasing a lot of release talk tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is from the F4W Online Yield Observer. AEW contracts for both Shayna and Awesome Kong were not renewed. They were removed. They kicked them out. Were not renewed, according to Dave Meltzer. Both were removed off the company's roster page over the weekend, raising questions as to their status. After not working for AEW due to the pandemic, Shayna returned last November and racked up a 6-2 record in infrequent appearances. She appeared once on Dynamite during that span, losing to Britt Baker, and was last seen working an early April Elevation show in a loss to Layla Hirsch. Kong made a surprise appearance in 2019's Double or Nothing as Brandy Rhodes added her to her four-way with Baker, Nyla Rose, and Kylie Ray. She competed 4 more times, racking up 3 quick singles wins along with a Casino Battle Royal appearance. She last appeared on a January 2020 episode of Dark, defeating Skylar Moore.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people going, hey, why aren't we all complaining about these releases? Well, we haven't seen Kong since 2019. We're now in 2021. Shanna, what?
I'm sorry, I didn't say anything.
Okay, yeah. So there's that, and Shanna, just haven't seen much of her, and maybe she wanted to leave and go do more. Who knows? But hey, I mean, look, these girls weren't exactly being used like some of the people that we're going to mention from WWE that were let go. And I just don't see it the same. Situation by situation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is misfortunate that Kong, didn't manage to last there for whatever reason. I've heard she had some injuries or whatever, but she, when they first started, it seemed like she would have definitely been a big part of that division. She's obviously very talented and has been, being pretty consistently good for, quite a while. But she had that sort of break where she left Impact and she was like working on Glow, and then she went to AEW. And so who knows what the next step for her is going to be. But yeah, I was a little bit bummed out with that because she obviously has a lot to offer for a division that at the time needed help.
Yeah, and I mean, they had that whole Nightmare Factory. I believe that's what it was going on at the time. Something like that. And they just
went over like a fucking lead balloon.
Oh, like a wet fart. It was awful.
Which was pretty great because their solution to that was like, all right, we're not going to use Kong again, but we are going to use Brandy more. It's like, I think you missed the point as to why that didn't work.
Well, that's just the way that company works. But so, yeah, there we go. On that. Again, I just don't see it as, again, these are girls that have not been used in a very long time. And that's it. I mean, look, we last saw Shanna April. I mean, we're 2 months down the road now, and she hasn't even been used since April. So, not really anything that I think we should really start yelling and screaming about. AEW's women's division right now is doing well, and they're about to be doing even better now that they've got a new champion, which we definitely will get into. But that's really all we got on AEW, I think, Smark.
Yeah. But as a little bit of a bonus to that, I just saw in the article that apparently Joey Janela is injured, so he's going to be out for a little while.
Joey Janela still wrestles?
Somewhat. He was on the episode of Dynamite this week, the Friday episode. He wrestled. I forget who he wrestled, but he wrestled somebody. And I just remember that because during the commercial break, Taz made fun of him on commentary, like the duration of the commercial break, because he made fun of him for his underwear did not match his tights. His tights were sagging, and he had on a pair of bright green underwear with black tights, and Taz was just having a fucking field day with it. He told me that he wasn't on the indies anymore and he needed to buy matching tights.
Okay, Taz, we can't all wear orange and black the rest of our life.
Fast fashion consultant Taz.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Halloween fucking Humpty Dumpty over there. Jesus Christ.
Well, plus what Taz doesn't really consider is that like children's clothes tend to be cheaper than adult size clothes.
Yeah, you got a point there. You know, maybe he forgot something. Maybe Joey forgot something. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, Taz is not the one to be talking about, hey, look at his fucking pants. No.
It's a little bit like a Scooby-Doo character there. Taz and the Harlem Globetrotters solved the mystery of the missing pineapple.
I used to love that show when I was a kid. I still would watch that show now.
It's not bad.
Shit. Well, speaking of things I used to like watching, and
We already talked about Raw.
no, all right. Well, let's keep going here with a little bit of Fast and Furious. Well, we talked a little bit about John Cena apologizing. We heard the hostage video. I mean, well, we didn't play the hostage video because it was in Mandarin. I watched the video. It was scary. I hope John's okay. But
He blinked twice. He's all right.
oh, okay. But all the groveling, all the apologies didn't seem to help, and I'm not sure it was the apology that did the job on this movie. It did not do very well overseas in China and Taiwan. It just did not do very well in Taiwan. That movie, the last movie, what was it, Furious 7 and 8, The Fate of Fast and Furious, topped out at $390.9 million over the first weekend. This movie did about $136 million in the weekend, which is a huge drop. But again, I'm not going to blame John Cena because they're fucking flying rockets around and using magnets in this goddamn movie, dude.
Fucking magnets?
Magnets.
I mean, at some point, like, this is Fast and Furious 9. Like, at some point, you do have to see a return of a diminishing of returns. At some point, because, I mean, how many more movies are they going to make, and how many more times are people going to come out to see them? And, I mean, there's still a pandemic going on of a sort. I don't know what's going on necessarily overseas there, how their situation's going, but it is still a pandemic.
Well, I mean, they actually go to like up to space in this movie, dude. It's just no, you can't. I cannot, and I am not a John Cena, big fan, but I can't lay all the blame on John Cena when you're using giant magnets and going to space.
I don't know. You see, you're trying to make this sound bad, but you're kind of selling me on this because you're basically saying Vin Diesel in space, and I'm like, all right, say no more. You've got me.
I just remember when they raced cars; it was pretty cool. Like in the first 2 movies, maybe 3. Yeah, Tokyo Drift had had racing in it.
It's kind of like one of those companies that's been around so long that like their original acronyms don't even mean anything anymore. Like KFC doesn't stand for anything now.
No. Plus, most of the ones around here have Taco Bell's connected to them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a superior option, is what you're saying.
Well, you can get yourself a little bit of chicken, or you can get yourself some Taco Bell. Sometimes I mix it up a little bit.
Nice.
Sometimes I get a couple chicken sandwiches, and I can't believe they stopped selling the Mexican pizza. It's crushed me. I'm still crushed by it. They took that. They took that off the menu. It was like my favorite thing to get.
Yeah, I was never really a fan of that. I love me some Taco Bell, but it's never really that particular item specifically. Never done anything for me.
Used to love the Mexican pizza. They took it off the menu last year. I was heartbroken. I was very heartbroken. And, can't find them. Not here, at least. I know they don't have them here. Maybe some places still, maybe some of them still do, but they're probably just waiting to run out what's in the freezer.
I'm surprised that they're not going to, like, bring that back seasonally, like a McRib situation.
Oh, God. Mick, what the fuck is this in my sandwich that looks like ribs?
Oh, I mean, it's gross. I think it's gross, but people buy it.
I mean, just go. No, don't do it. Just go buy fake. Just go buy fake meat and throw it on a bun.
That's kind of what they're doing.
Go buy fake meat and throw it on a bun. You can do it at home. You can get a ton of them. Just throw some. Get the cheapest barbecue sauce you can find. Don't use any good shit on there.
Yeah, you don't want to put Sweet Baby Ray's on that.
Don't you fuck with no Sweet Baby Ray's on that motherfucker. You save that for the good ribs.
That's right.
Might do ribs tomorrow night. I think I have some in the freezer.
That sounds good.
You just reminded me. I think I might have to do that tomorrow night. That sounds good. But again, I'm not completely throwing the shade on Cena here. I know he called Taiwan a country. This crazy man, he must have Googled it and been more confused after making the video. But so anyway, like I said, I don't think you can throw all the blame on him. It's the 9th one in the series. These people are going to space using crazy magnets, barely doing racing. I don't even know who they're going after this time. I mean, even The Rock said, no, I'm not doing this one either. So they're like, hey, let's get another wrestler. Big arms. John Cena. Hey.
There you go.
There you go. So anyway.
Is it doing any better, like, in the U.S.? I'm trying to find out right now, but I figure if you already know the answer, I won't bother looking.
It doesn't come out in the U.S. till June 25th.
Ah, okay, so we shall see then.
We shall see. I believe it's June 25th when it comes out.
As of right now, it's sitting on a 5.2 on IMDb, 54% on Metascore.
I'm pretty sure it does not debut in the United States until June 25th, I believe. Pretty sure. So you check that out real quick. But we can save that one, actually. You know what? I guess we can hold on here real quick. Yeah, I guess we're actually, there's not much more news to talk about. You got one more little thing here, and then we'll get into the releases, man.
Yeah, you're right. It is June 25th in the U.S.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll go ahead and get into that before we get into sort of the meat and potatoes of the evening. So, it is time for us to talk about that dang Ted DiBiase. Apparently, Ted DiBiase has set forth a petition. This is on February of 1988. Ted enlisted the services of the legendary Andre the Giant to assist with capturing the WWF Championship. Andre was successful in pinning Hulk Hogan at the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the history books. WWE has decided not to recognize his title reign, even though Ted defended the championship at a live show against Bam Bam Bigelow. Support Ted by signing this petition asking WWE to hashtag make it official. And this is, if you go to the milliondollarman.com, I'm assuming that's his official site, you can go ahead and sign the petition, and there's all kinds of other shit that you can buy and do.
Right. Yeah, there's actually some cool stuff here. There's, let's see, we've got $1 million decal. Throw it on your car, throw it on your window, only $5, $4.99 actually, not even $5. You can get an autographed Ted DiBiase basketball. I think we understand why that one's in there. T-shirt. Everybody's got a price. Send and sign, so he'll sign a little poster for you for $50 and send it out to you. And everybody's got a price mug. I like that mug.
Mm-hmm. And it looks nice.
And I like the $1 million mug with his ring gear on it, with his shirt. That's nice. Hey, Christopher Kane, how you doing there?
And apparently the real takeaway is that he apparently makes coffee.
He does. It looks like he makes coffee. $1 million coffee. Ethiopian Yurgachefe. I Can't do that. No, we have not talked pay-per-view yet, Chris. You are right on time. We're going to talk about the releases and then knock out Double or Nuttin'. So, yeah, coffee. And not only that, but you can get an American blend. And you can also do a personalized video right on this website. Not on Cameo. Not on Cameo. Thank you. It was right there. So go to milliondollarman.com/makeitofficial and get a personalized video there instead of Cameo. I got a feeling WWE might not get any pieces of this shit here, but I did sign the petition. I'm going to hit sign now. Bam. I have
so
now
for whatever it's worth, when
it.
you click the link, it does link to Cameo. So it's just sort of a way to get there. But yeah, it's $100 if you want to get Ted DiBiase to wish you a happy birthday.
All right, give Ted his $22.99 cut of that, and that's perfect.
Pennies on the dollar for old Ted DiBiase.
We said 80-20. We said 80-20. And yes, I did sign the petition, so there you go. I have been thanked for signing the petition on that website.
Nice. I will sign the petition when he does the right thing and aligns himself with Cameron Grimes. Until then, you get no signature from me.
How dare you blackmailing? You gotta make it official.
Hey, I cannot support it in good conscience. I cannot support anybody that supports LA Knight. So until he rectifies the situation, which it appears as though we are on that road, but until he officially rectifies that position.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Every time I see Make It Official, I just think of there was an episode of Jersey Shore where Mike, the situation, was seeing this girl, and he wanted to ask her to be his girlfriend, and they worked at a T-shirt store, so he made a T-shirt that said, "Let's make it official." And right during his little dinner, he just slid the shirt open.
That actually seems more clever than what I would expect from somebody in that position.
And she was like, "What does your shirt say?" And he's like, "Let's make it official, girl." It was just what you expected from an episode of Jersey Shore. Exactly what you expected from an episode.
I don't want to do body shots off anybody else, girl.
And that was when they were partying their asses off, actually. Is that? Yeah,
I give them all the credit in the world. They fucking, gimmick or not, they made quite a bit of money to just go fucking get drunk and punch each other in the face. So God bless them.
Actually, I'll tell you what. This week or last week, Mike the Situation just had his first child. So congratulations. So
yeah, good for him. Good for him. We wish him all the best.
Hey.
And if you want to come on the show, I'm sure you're listening. But if you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome.
I would actually have a few questions. I mean, you got him. He got sober. He went to meetings, got sober for a while, and I think he is still sober, actually. So, he cleaned himself up. That seventh season was a little different when he was sober, and they all weren't partying. What's her name was pregnant. Snooki was pregnant, so it was a lot of different stuff going on in those seasons, man. So, but they all tried to grow up. Most of them.
Yeah, I saw that they had like a new one out this year or last year that they were showing on MTV. It's never really been my thing, but I did see that they have a new season out.
I haven't seen it either. I'll probably get it eventually. But I guess we can go ahead and move on from Jersey Shore and go ahead and get into the releases. There were 6 of them today. I keep reading it ain't over yet.
Nope.
I keep reading it's not over yet. Now, a lot of people were, is this true? Is this true? I am reading this straight from WWE.com. WWE has come to terms on the releases of Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Lana Murphy, Ruby Riott, and Santana Garrett. I see a couple of surprises in there. I'd say 3. I know most people would say 2. I see 3 surprises in there, really. Smark, I think you can guess who 2 of them definitely are on this one.
Well, it seems that a lot of people were surprised by the Strowman release, but I mean, at the same time, like, I mean, I wouldn't have predicted that. So yeah, I guess you could say that I was surprised as well. But his last feud was built upon him just being a giant fucking moron. So it's like, is it really that big of a surprise? It's not. Like, I mean, I understand that, even as early as as late as a couple of months ago, he was champion. Like, he was champion in, sometime last year, but they haven't really used him really all that well lately. So it's not necessarily a huge surprise. And then another thing about that, though, is I'm very curious as to what exactly the market is for him, because he's a big guy and he can move well. He's a good wrestler for a big guy. But is it a matter of, does he completely suck at promos, or is it just the stuff that he's been given? Because if he can't cut a promo, there's really no need to use him.
I think he probably can, but I got to tell you, a lot of people are like, "Oh, he'll be great in AEW." No, he wouldn't.
I wouldn't be so sure. Honestly, I wouldn't be so sure about him, like AEW reaching out to him. Because do they really need him? Like, do they really, really need? They have a couple of big guys that are decent enough promos. I mean, you got the Lance Archer, you got Miro, if you want to count him as a big guy. They have Hager, Wardlow. They have some beef. They don't necessarily need to reach out and get him just because they have another big guy on the roster.
And they're just figuring out how to use these big guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I just don't think he needs to be there. I wouldn't mind seeing him going over, maybe traveling over to New Japan or somewhere. It might be good over somewhere like that.
He's got to go somewhere, because I don't see him having a prosperous career on the Indies based on some of the things that he has said in the past.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out. Impact, probably. I could see him going over to Impact, to be honest with you. He could pretty much dominate over there, probably.
I could see that as being like a situation where he goes there to prove himself, kind of like how Cass is doing right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I've actually, believe it or not, have seen some pretty good things about him in Impact. I haven't really seen that much of him myself, but it seems like he's actually cutting some pretty decent promos.
All right. Well, nice. That's good. Good for him. Christopher Kane is saying that there was another list that came out earlier today, which has been pretty much debunked. Keith Lee was on it. Yim, Liv Morgan, a couple more people were on that list to be released. But again, that list, nothing's been said, and it was just one person who tweeted it out. It was like wrestlinggetfuc.com or something like that. I don't know.
Love them.
Please don't type that in.
Well, now I have to.
No, please don't. God, please no. Oh God, no. And but yeah, I do agree. Braun was pretty much a surprise. But then again, we just went through storylines of this guy's being called a complete moron. Stupid. We just had a storyline, which I'm going to tell you, man, that is how you build up a guy's stock before you release him. I'm telling you right now. That's how you do it. You want this guy worth the max when he's gone? Mm-hmm. That's the way you do it. I hope you guys can sense the sarcasm in my statement there. I don't because says Tony Khan is like, I'm checking my bank account.
Mm-hmm. He's going to go into checking the cash at any moment and get himself a loan so he can get a couple extra people on the old roster. Apparently, Wrestling Get Fucked is available. So if we want to go ahead and hit up GoDaddy.com, there's actually like a thing, I don't know, you probably know this, but like if you say a website on television, you're pretty much legally obligated to buy the website if it doesn't exist. Oh. Like you must have to. So anytime you make up like some weird website on television, like the company network or whatever that it's on has to buy it. So I'm glad we don't have that kind of situation.
Yeah, me too. I really don't want to buy wrestlinggetfuc.com. Of course, I might have just named the show. Have to figure out a way to.
I wouldn't mind having that website. I don't know about the kind of clientele we'd attract, but making a couple extra eyes on the show.
At this point, I think you'd get a lot of people on that website. But just have to figure out how.
We got pictures of Seth Rollins.
Oh no! But yeah, Braun Strowman. Like I said, we've heard basically they made this guy out to be a fucking idiot, and then they put him through. They have given this guy jack shit, and then they release him. And this was I hate to say, this is a big son of a bitch right here. He writes his own storylines. All they had to do was not make a fucking joke of him, let him go out there and beat the living shit out of people and throw people around and be a fucking monster. How hard is it to book a guy his size, who looks like him, who sounds like him? How hard is that to book?
Right. And I mean, that seems specifically up Vince's alley because he's a big guy. He's pretty ripped. He can actually move. He's not a giant lumbering, just fucking mass a la the Great Khali. He can actually move around, and he's a decent enough promo guy. I personally I don't really like his promos, but he's not like completely terrible on the microphone. He has at least a little bit of passion behind it.
He has cut some good, passionate promos. He has. He definitely.
And I mean, to be fair, I say that I don't like his promos, but I don't know if I would like, based on how he was booked, I don't know if I'd like seeing that happen to anybody. If they're cutting these promos where they're just making them out to be just giant fucking idiot. I mean, what can you really do with that?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel bad for Braun, but I got to tell you what, the two people in here I feel really bad for. Braun Strowman is one of them. Like I said, this guy didn't come from the indies. He didn't come from. He was a homegrown WWE guy, from what I remember. They usually love that. Looks like they didn't on this one, though. Looks like they didn't. I guess we'll get to the next one now, Smark, which another surprise to me was Aleister Black.
Yes and no. Like, they were starting to use them, and according to Meltzer, he was saying that they filmed some stuff with for a feud between him and Big E. So basically, it kind of just came out of nowhere. They I don't know if they flip-flopped on it or not, but it just sort of, nobody was really expecting it because they had plans in place for him. But at the same time, before the vignettes that we started seeing the last month or so, he had been doing absolutely nothing for months. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't necessarily catch me super off guard that they got rid of him. It just seemed like it was almost maybe even like an oversight from when they had all those releases about a month and a half ago, where they got rid of Samoa Joe and Peyton Royce and all of those people.
This is another situation where, I mean, you got to realize this guy was just they did all these vignettes. They just gave this guy, basically, he just debuted, came back and did a little debut the other day. And then nothing. Poof. And it's funny, when they first started these little vignettes with him, I'm like, so we're trying this Aleister Black thing again, eh? So we're trying this one more time. And I guess they tried it and didn't like it. And you're right. We just heard rumors that possibly Zelina Vega was coming back. We also said that she could just be coming back to film stuff. We know she was doing a lot of stuff with WWE Studios. So
how big of a fuck you move would that have been if they actually got her to sign and then just immediately fired her husband?
Oh.
Well, you're stuck with us now, bitch. Have fun.
Oh, I would.
We'll teach you to try to form a union.
I would find that contract, tear it up, and eat it in front of those motherfuckers. Oh, my God, that would be pretty awful. But I can tell you what, I could see Aleister Black in a New Japan. I could see him going to an ROH. I could see him being an asset. Listen, I know when we say an asset to Impact, it doesn't really make a big difference, but you never know, man. One person could turn their shit around. And I don't know if it could be Aleister Black. I'm not sure he's that guy, but he could be somewhere that maybe Impact. But I could see him going over to, like I said, New Japan, having a really good run over there. Isn't that where he was before he came over to WWE, NXT?
He basically wrestled all over. He did a lot of like European promotions.
As Tommy
Was
End,
primarily where he was at, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And again, this is a guy who I didn't know much about him back in the THD days. Shaheen made me look him up, and I really did like what I saw from Tommy End at that time. But they really messed with his whole gimmick, his whole aura. He was supposed to be this big, brooding, dark character, and next thing you know, he's in bullshit Money in the Bank matches, having to do little comedy spots, and they paired him with Ricochet, which was like, what the? I know they love the Odd Couple, but what the fuck would you pair this guy with anyone for? He's a loner, no reason to. Then he's getting thrown off of a roof in that stupid fucking Money in the Bank match.
Mm-hmm. He temporarily lost his eye or vision for a little while during the Seth Ray feud. He was wrestling wearing an eye patch for a minute.
They've given this guy nothing, and he still put 100% into what he did, I thought. And it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter to them.
Well, the problem ended up becoming that Heyman was behind him. So it's like for that short period of time when Heyman had the sort of crumb of power that he had, the very, very little amount of power that he had, it worked out in his favor. But then as soon as Heyman got ousted from the creative position that he was in,
right,
it was all going to be downhill for him, for Andrade, for Garza, for all the other people that are. And it's 2 out of 3 of them that have been released or have wanted to, or asked for their release.
Garza was actually another one on that list of the debunk list. I would hate to see that. That's another one, man. If they do that, that's a big mistake. But again, that list, no one on that list that I mentioned has been the one we're talking about now. Is the one, the real one. Again, right off WWE.com. We talked about Braun, Alistair, Lana. I'm not a surprise. I'm not going to spend a ton of time sitting here going through it. Lana, not a surprise. Miro, saying the things he's been saying and doing well over there. And again, I don't think they really see AEW as this, big, huge competition. But let's face it, Lana's probably just not needed at this point. Not a surprise. Go ahead, Smark.
I mean, as a wrestler, she doesn't really contribute all that much, but I mean, they love them some reality show. They love them. They're total divas. And like, she seems like she's definitely kind of built for that kind of position of just where, like a reality show star or an influencer, as she likes to do all those, ads and all that posts on Instagram and all that kind of shit like that, where seems like she's not great as a wrestler, but she's pretty good as a vapid bimbo. So it seems like they would have a use for that because, I mean, that's pretty much what reality television is. Yeah,
Lana's going to be fine. I'm not worried about her. I think I think we're going to see her again somewhere. I don't really know if it will be AEW, but I got a feeling. There you go. Like Christopher Kane said, she can act or model. I got a feeling she'll be modeling again. Look up her. She's beautiful. She was more beautiful before doing a little bit of surgery. As what was her name? CJ Perry, I believe is her real name.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, not the biggest surprise in the world. Another one who I'm going to say probably isn't the biggest surprise in the world either is Murphy.
No, not at all. I mean, they used him like once in the last 5 or 6 months, and it was just him wanting to get back with Seth and Seth not wanting anything to do with him after they finally dropped that fucking just god-awful angle with him trying to date Aaliyah.
Yeah, which I think that immediate backlash from that story, just they backed right off of it. And really, you got to realize this guy was used because he was accidentally caught in the background of a shot in the Roman Reigns storyline. Mm-hmm. That's why they used him in that, or the Seth Rollins storyline, I believe. I'm sorry. Did I screw up there?
I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact story, but I will say that I feel bad for him because he's had sort of a rough go of it the last year or two, because he went from, them giving him the cruiserweight title when they were in Australia and just having, his home country rather. Australia is not a city. Breaking news. But they gave him the belt when they were in Australia, and it was this big, huge thing. He was just like super over, and he had garnered a decent, amount of fans. He had a decent fan base behind him, and then like all kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, and for calling Australia a city, I believe we are going to have to call parent company, and there will be a script sent to your house. Do not open it quickly. I'm just going to say that.
I understand. I will go ahead and fire up the old ring light as I begin to make my apology video to Crocodile Dundee and all of the other famous Australians.
There you go. And you know what? I don't think that was the headphones earlier. I think my cord is starting to cut out. I think my daughter was chewing on it. I'm going to have to order me a couple of audio cords here. Some 3.5 millimeter cords. I'll get me some. Okay, so Murphy, neither one of us are really surprised by Murphy. The next one I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised about. They've been using her. They use her a decent amount. I feel they gave her nothing, and she still got over with the crowd when there was crowds. Ruby Riott. I was a fan even when she was Heidi Lovelace. I liked her. I liked her as Ruby Riott. I always thought she was good, and I think they might have fucked up with her. I think she's going to definitely flourish in another company, and I think she would be a great addition to the AEW roster in 3 months, 90 days, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, Christopher Kane was saying that September is going to be kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when, the 3 months is going to be up. As is, fucking July, because that's when they did the first round of releases. That's when their 90 days will be up. So the next couple of months are going to be interesting. But with Ruby Riott, I was particularly surprised because not that, like you said, she was being used. She was being used often. There's never really a period where they stopped doing stuff with them. They were always doing something with the Riott Squad. Now, most of it was not good, but they were still using them. And I figured that at the very least, they were going to keep her around just so that AEW couldn't benefit from her, because obviously I feel like they're going to pick her up almost immediately, like as soon as possible, as much as, and then their women's division is turning around, but even so, that's a good hand to have at your disposal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I 100% think that Ruby Riott would be a great addition on the AEW roster. I think she would just do nothing but elevate that women's division even more. My God, her and Britt would have some great matches. Her and half that roster could have some great matches. So, I don't know. She's another one, though. I just thought they never really let her go and be as good as she can be. I think they kind of held her back a little bit from what I had seen from her on the indies.
Yeah, and not only that, but like when she first got there, she had a look all her own. She had, the tattoos, the dyed hair, the piercings, and now, unfortunately for her, I guess I could name like probably 5 women on the roster that kind of have that exact look of the tattoos, piercings, dyed hair, all that kind of stuff, the alt girl look, as it were.
Right. So
unfortunately, she became sort of disposable based on the people around her, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you got Shotzi, you got, Rhea.
Mercedes Martinez has a bunch of tattoos, maybe not so much piercing, but she kind of also plays into that category of people.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of people that have that look nowadays.
Might have piercings you can't see, Smark.
I'd be willing to do some investigative journalism on this front.
Yeah, I probably would investigate myself if I wouldn't get in trouble for it. So there we go. Ruby Riott, once again, I think she'll be a great addition to pretty much anyone who picks her up. I think will benefit from Ruby Riott or Heidi. Probably going to go back by Heidi Lovelace again unless they scoop that one up too. and one that I'm not surprised about, because I always kind of felt like they were just like threw her out there whenever they really just to keep her happy, was Santana Garrett.
Yeah, they did nothing with her. Like, they called her. There was some rumors that they called her up, or maybe they even did call her up, and then nothing ever came of it.
Right. Yeah. Really, nothing ever did, and I don't know what happened with her, but yeah. So there you go. And yeah, Christopher Kane, we talked about Amazing Kong. I wouldn't say she got fired. They just didn't renew her contract. And Shanna, I was actually reading as we were going through that they're saying she had some behavioral problems backstage too. So
interesting.
Maybe we'll get some more information on that by Friday, and we'll come back to that. I want to leave it at that because that's all that really is being said is those two words, behavioral issues.
Yeah, I'm curious of that too, because I mean, we hadn't ever really heard anything about that in the past. Whereas, like, somebody like Evilise, who we talked about, there was rumblings early on that there were some problems, even when she like first started there. So that's kind of interesting.
That's her MO, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
It
is. It definitely is.
I mean, again, we talked about this. Eventually, she needs to just be like, hey, and we're talking about Evilise here. She's the common denominator in all the problems. It's you. It's you causing them. It's you starting them. It's you getting involved in them. Stop. Shut the fuck up. My God, some people just need to delete their social media so they just don't say anything. Be private. I got social media. I like to scroll Facebook. I see things. I might comment on a few things. Lately, it's been more 80s and movie comments than anything. But I just don't post my private life. I don't know. I'm old, which is one thing. I'm 45, and I'm kind of on the. I know technology, but I don't like to use technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm a little bit younger, but I don't like using Facebook or Twitter all that much. Like, the only thing that keeps me from deleting Facebook is the fact that we just use it to communicate for this.
Yeah, I mean, look, my wife will take pictures of my food and put it online, and I'm like, it's my food. Don't take pictures of it.
Trying to eat. Stop making me fucking line it up properly.
I don't want pictures of my food. Fucking flash is going to make it look weird. Stop. But she, the younger generation. I mean, she's 7 years younger than me. So, anyway.
Some of that old Memphis heat, huh?
Well, there was this one time. Anyway. There was one girl when I was 21 that she was 17, but I met her in college. I thought she was a college girl. She didn't say anything. She didn't tell me she wasn't.
I feel like the coloring book should have given it away. But...
There was no coloring book. She was in college courses. I found out she was like this genius girl. I'm like, she can't be a genius. She went with me.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a play that could be made. I'm not talking about you specifically, but I'm talking about like just in general, where it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if there are certain people who go after other people who they view to be of a lesser intelligence level than them in order to like kind of manipulate them. I mean, that's kind of cynical, but I can see it happening.
Well, if she thought that it worked, and it worked well. I actually stayed with her for 2 years. Anyway. Yeah, that was interesting when I found out. I literally found out on her birthday that she was going to be 18. I'm like, wait, you're in college? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. I mean, it was 3 weeks after I met her, but that's not the point. Yeah. But anyway, that's the only little thing. Where were we? Done with the releases, I believe, and going into a little bit of additions to some of the releases. First one I've got, man, these headphones. Is my audio moving, or is my audio steady and clear?
For the most part, it's clear. Every so often, there'll be a little bit of a pause, but I have been able to hear everything that you were saying.
Okay, but it's not like fading from one ear, like one side to the other?
Not that I can surmise.
Okay, that's what it's doing in my ear. I just want to make sure. It's like if I turn my head, it's the cord. I need to get a new cord. I'll pick one up tomorrow. I work right near the place.
So one of, I don't know if I posted this or not, but I do want to get this out of the way since we're talking about additional factoids for releases. It's on WWEshop.com if you want to go take a look at it. They WWE are accepting pre-orders for the new Aleister Black T-shirt. So maybe you want to go ahead and buy those because it seems like that's going to be a collector's item at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and why wouldn't you? I mean, go ahead and do that. But listen, for 3 months, you might actually get a little bit of profit. So maybe you should get your ass in there and buy one, to be honest with you.
It's not a bad T-shirt, honestly. I mean, compared to some of the other T-shirts that they have. They blur his face is, like, shaded. So you don't actually see his face. You just see his fingers holding the big evil storybook that he was reading from for a while there. And they have his little logo that's in, like, sort of death metal font. So it's like it's really hard to tell. They don't have the giant blaring WWE logo on where you would actually be wearing it, where it'd be visible in public. So you could totally pass this off as just being like some random band T-shirt or some horror movie thing.
Yeah, it's a nice T-shirt. I actually like the color of it, the green background, the fire, the book, the hands, and you're right. The back is nothing but his logo. So that is pretty good. I like that. I do. That's actually a nice T-shirt. I wouldn't probably buy it. I mean, what am I going to wear to work? But nice T-shirt.
Water cooler conversation there. That's a sweet Aleister Black T-shirt, bro.
Yeah, listen, $27.99, not a bad price. Like I said, for 3 months, you might be getting royalties from this. So it might not be a bad idea if you do want to hit that up. This item will be shipping. Looks like this is actually pre-order. You're right. June 14th is when these actually hit. So jump on in. Get yours. Pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-order. So there you go. Aleister Black is actually one that I've got a few things on. He's been kind of vocal about his release today. First thing I've got is a little tweet by him. It says, "I'm gathering my thoughts as this was a complete left field for me, as obviously we just started the Dark Father character, but this was it. Thank you so much, WWE Universe, for allowing me to create and give you small bits of myself." So there you go, right there with Aleister Black. There's that. Buddy Murphy chimed in. Give me a sec. He said, so today ends my 8 years with WWE. What a crazy ride. Highest of highs, lowest of lows. But whether, he actually put the word weather, like the weather, not WH. But anyway, autocorrect's a bitch. I'm not shitting on him for it. It caught my eye. But whether I had 3 minutes or 20 minutes, I put all my effort into my performances. Nothing is harder when nothing is harder when all you want to do is wrestle, but you can't. In my opinion, I haven't even hit my peak yet. It continues. I haven't even hit my peak yet. And I'm excited to see what the next adventure holds. I was lucky enough to work with some of the best talent in the world and learned a tremendous amount. But trust me, the whole world will know what I meant by best kept secret. Thank you all. That was Buddy Murphy. So far, both guys taking the high road. Smart idea. Lana, no different. I will never forget the fans and the love they showed me. Whether she spelled weather correctly, whether it was a tank, power suits, flags, Crush, Rusev, 900 partners. You had 900. Forget it. Weddings or tables
in a row. Breaking out the old.
Hey,
clerks.
My wife had 900 in a row. All right, 900 partners in a row. I tried to entertain you, and And you definitely elevated me. Thank you. Oh, that took a turn.
And she elevated me a couple of times too, so it's all good.
Once or twice. I actually didn't read that before. I got that one right before the show. I didn't read that one. Had I read it, I would have not snickered like a high school child at it. But anyway, let's just move on from that. Lana St. Clair. Well, once again, Weeb, spell her name backwards right now. Do it right now. Lana, backwards.
Oh, dang. That took me a second to get that joke, but that's a good one.
There you go. Right now, maybe 900 partners. Rusev might not mind if it's only in that hole. Who knows? No, yes, only.
He just wants to play video games. He doesn't care.
Oh, shit. All right. And you know what? I do have some audio that I guess old Alistair jumped on Twitch today and said a few words. And give me a sec. I'll get some volume here, and it's 4 minutes. We may pause it. We may not. Here.
There's a lot of, waves into WWE. There's a lot of, if you've never been there, you can't imagine it. And that's another thing as well. Don't listen to these reporters that talk about, oh, Aleister Black this, oh, Vince was never high on Aleister Black. That's not true. That's not true at all. What murdered me was, I think, the 7 months at home. Was that?
Oh no, I was just cheering.
Oh, okay. Don't listen to them because they don't know anything. They don't have insiders. They have people that tell them warped stories. Like when I think in the span of 7 months that I sat home, there were 7 different reports. Vince, that my NXT request got shot down. That's not true at all. Didn't get shot down at all. Actually, it got praised. I was actually that's a really good idea. But his thought was no, I just want to do it this way first. And then if it doesn't work out, I can always, put you back in NXT. Because I had a whole plan for that too, but it wasn't shot down hard at all. No, not at all. And this is the problem, right? They're not in those talks. They're not in those conversations. They don't know any of these people. Don't waste your money on it because it's for the most part, it's a 5% truth and they'll fabricate 95% around it just so that you click on it. And it's just sad to see that this business has become a tabloid thing, which I always think is so strange because why are you scamming people? Why are you feeding this negative narrative continuously? Why are you? And I get it because negativity sells, but you also have to realize you have to be smarter than that system because I can guarantee you from being in that company and seeing some of these articles pop up, 95% of the time it was just fabricated or there was a moment where apparently I remember Asuka leaving a live event and immediately it was oh, Asuka mad, storm that live event. No, she was just done with her match. She just went to the next town. You can sensationalize anything you want. There was a story about that Lars Sullivan at one point was supposed to be the NXT before me. It's never a thing. It's all just, NXT apparently not high in Aleister Black. No. The thing is, and it's frustrating because it puts us in a shit position because, you as fans, and I don't blame you for the most part, that's the closest source of news that you have. But it's not a source of news. It's fabricated, and it's fabricated to make you think a certain way. It's programming your brain to these mother effers, and a lot of times it's not right. Sure, there's times where, where it's right, but I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day too, right? So, and I was the plan's changed.
All right. Honestly, from here, he kind of repeats himself about stop listening to the tabloids, wrestling tabloids, if you will. The dirt sheets. Don't stop listening to the dirt sheet dudes. But those other dirt sheets out there, they're full of shit.
I like the idea that he says don't pay for them because they're not worth your money. If he knew anything about wrestling fans, he would know that we don't pay for a goddamn thing.
I know.
Sir, have you seen the sales on your pay-per-views?
I think he was talking about Conrad.
I would pay to hear that, actually. Just a good bashing of Conrad.
Rumor or innuendo. Oh, shut the fuck up.
But it does kind of make me laugh because it kind of seems a little bit like the old "Why He Don't Want Me" man. Like Fresh Prince to Uncle Phil, where he's like trying to deal with the fact that his dad abandoned him because it was like, oh no, Vince loved the idea of me suggesting that I should go to NXT, and he's like, but let's try this first, we'll see how that goes. It's like, well, resulted in you being fired, so it went well, yes. Where it's like, if he liked you that much and if he was that high on your ideas, you would still be there.
I mean, the idea wasn't totally shot down. I mean, look, I'm fired, but something could have happened.
Look, he said that he would keep me in mind for future opportunities. He's obviously going to call me back soon.
Obviously, he's going to call me. He's going to call me back, right? No.
It's over for you, buddy. You got a really, really hot wife out of the deal.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and go to New Japan and have you some fun.
He did. He did get a very, very hot wife out of the deal. That's
a hell of a parting gift. That's way better than the home gift.
That's definitely that. I think he won the grand prize, to be honest with you. All right, Weebs. Yeah. Zelina did also. She was released. A lot of different stories going around about what's next in her career, but time will tell. Let's go ahead and get to Double or Nothing, Smark. I don't have a ton of notes, but there was 10 matches on this card. I don't need to go match by match. Do you want to do that? I mean, do you want to run through them? I mean, I've got like one, maybe two quick notes on each match.
Okay, I mean, however you want to do it. I wouldn't be heartbroken if we didn't talk about the Cody match outside of the ridiculous pandering entrance, which was fucking amazing. I kind of loved it, but I loved it for all the wrong reasons.
My notes on that are one sentence, not even a full paragraph at all. Don't worry about it. I think we can blow through this in 15, 20 minutes at the most.
Sure.
Double or Nothing was Sunday. Full capacity crowd. Great to hear a full capacity crowd again. Great to see a full capacity crowd again. And literally you could see them because they started with the sun still out, and you could see the crowd. From the moment that I'm just going to kind of drop to the bottom of my notes here. Pun intended. This was a dynamite pay-per-view from start to finish.
I see what you did there.
I really cannot think of. I can't pick out one bad match. Look, if you wanted to really, like I said, we can joke about the Cody match, but there was still some good shit going on in that match, and it wasn't exactly a bad match. Pandering, Smart, like you said, definitely. But what did you think about hearing the full crowd, seeing the full crowd?
It was interesting because, we talked about it with WrestleMania, how it was going to be interesting to see who it was that they put out there first. Mm-hmm. In the case of WrestleMania, it was the McIntyre-Lashley match. In the case of AEW, the first match in front of the full crowd was the Hangman Page match versus Cage. So that was interesting to see obviously they've been trying their hardest to kind of get Page over as being, a genuine, kind of main event caliber talent. I think that kind of goes, in a step along the way of that. So that was kind of interesting. They had a pre-show match too, which I've heard good things about, but I didn't actually catch. But it was interesting to see who they decided rolling with first right out the gate. And they simmered down a little bit over time, but that first match, that Brian Cage, Hangman Page match, was with all the crowd. The crowd was electric. It was crazy. Every little thing got a huge reaction.
Yeah, it did. The crowd was hot for that fucking match, and they should have been, man. I mean, Cage came out with his, cyborg Terminator gear, and goddamn, that guy is just a fucking a beast, man. But not a tall guy, but really good start-out match for this show, in my opinion. I thought this was, we had said that the women's match, not the women's match, on the show, I did with Everything Unscripted. I think we said the Battle Royal was going to be the first match. So we were wrong about that. That's usually how they start these shows off. I thought it was going to be. But this was a good way to start it with Page taking out Brian Cage. But I thought Brian Cage's gear when he came out was really cool shit. And good start, good match. Like you said, it was a great way to get the crowd just immediately lit for the rest of the show. And I think they did. So, all right. We had Moxley and Kingston. They came out versus, Jesus Christ, Young Bucks, right?
Yeah, Young Bucks. It was a tag team title match.
Young Bucks, that's right, tag team title. Moxley had on a Trent Acid shirt, and he got a lot of praise for wearing that shirt. And like I said, man, great. Moxley was busted open. I did like that. I love when Moxley and Kingston use the Doomsday Device. Just a little spot in my heart just goes pitter-patter.
Yeah, it works for them because they kind of have a little bit of an old school, like, brawler, bruiser aesthetic. So the idea that they're using, Legion of Doom finishers, it works for them.
Yeah, I just like seeing it, man. I love seeing, and that's a move that it's not easy to take because you can't stop yourself very easily. But I love when they do it. Like I said, just as much of a fan of Road Warriors as I was and tag team wrestling, I like seeing shit like that, and it just makes that one little, makes the left aorta, the vein that pumps blood just kind of pitter-patter a little bit.
Well, there you go.
Too far?
I was not prepared for that, yes. Apparently, Moxley's got a book coming out soon, too, so we're going to be talking about him quite a bit in the future, I believe. He did a real good sales job on the Observer, because he came out and he was basically like, yeah, they were telling me I should put a book out, and I was like, I'm not a literary genius. I didn't even fucking graduate high school, but I got some stories. I'm like, all right, I'll buy it. Why not?
Is it a pop-up?
That would actually be pretty great. It's just a fucking, here's my time in CZW, and there's just a fucking bunch of syringes pop out.
I'm not fake. I'm not making fun of guys. I would appreciate that, actually.
I can get behind a hardcore pop-up book. He apparently had himself quite a bit of a life. I'm familiar with some of these stories, but like before WWE and all of this, because he was like, yeah, people, I'm putting the book out there to basically just kind of address all the stuff that I've done before this point. And so now if people come up to me and it's like, hey, I have these photos of you smoking crack, I'm like, people already know. I'm like, whoa, you were having yourself some fun, huh?
Someone's never going to be running for political office. So there you go.
Probably not. I actually stumbled upon the Jesse Ventura campaign ads while watching old wrestling commercials the other day, and they're fucking amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen any of those. But, all right, let's go ahead and keep rolling here. Like I said, I want to get through this in 15, 20 max. Casino Battle Royal. This was the match. Listen, this match is a clusterfuck. Christian was first out. Big Show was guest analyst for the match. Let's just get let's put the elephant out there, Smark. Again, I know you guys have heard a lot already on Double or Nothing, which is why we're just kind of blowing through it real quick. You guys have heard everything. The Joker, the surprise entrance, Mark, the big, shocking surprise was Lio Rush.
Which was actually pretty great because
I
would say.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to say, like, first off, he's actually. I was watching him outside of the WWE bubble, that landscape, and the matches that he's been having. I know we like to shit on him quite a bit. He has said some really dumb things over time. But the matches that he was having in GCW were actually pretty solid. He had a match WrestleMania weekend with Jordan Oliver that was it was fucking awesome. I loved it. But the reason why I was happy, I think it's actually a better surprise than when they tried it out Ethan Page. But neither here nor there. What makes me laugh is that they brought out Lio Rush, and it's like, all right, so maybe Lio Rush is with the company. Maybe they'll be using him in the future. And then the next surprise signing that they card out is old Mark Henry on his rascal scooter.
Yep. But, I mean, it was Lio Rush.
Hey.
Jesus!
I mean... I'll tell you what, though, at least the crickets make some response.
At least the crickets will fucking keep their mouths shut when I tell them to, or stop the fucking track. I'm sorry, not a Lio Rush fan. He's fine.
You didn't find it at least the slightest bit amusing after their whole big go around of like Mark Henry threatening to sue him with his big WWE lawyers. Like he even said as much as like, we got the high powered lawyers, we'll come after you. Not only is Mark Henry gone, but now they're in the same company again.
Well,
so, I wonder if they told Lio Rush beforehand, or if it was just like, surprise, motherfucker.
Well, in the old post show media scrum, according to old Tony Khan, or Khan, whatever you want to call him, Lio Rush is on a handshake deal, which I would do no more with this guy than that. This guy is not known to be the most... Again, his mouth gets him in trouble. I will guarantee you he will say something stupid. He did say something not stupid. He said him and Mark Henry did have a little discussion backstage. I don't know if it's true or not, but he did say they did. That at least wasn't a stupid thing to say. He'll say something stupid. But again, I really want to get away from the shittiness that, in my opinion, I don't like Lio Rush. I think the guy's a piece of shit. I think he's garbage. I really just don't look like him. I've talked about him so many times doing so many stupid things. He's just a child who thinks he knows everything. And it's awful, in my opinion. But anyway, let's get away from that, and let's get to the real good part of this match right here. Jungle Boy, who always makes it deep in these matches, ended up winning this match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was him and Christian were the final two.
Oh, boy, did I think Christian was going to outwork everyone. I was almost afraid of it.
Yeah, he showed up. He had his little Dukes of Hazzard lunch pail. He was ready to put in some work.
I had a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox. Shut up.
I was just trying to go for like a 70s or 80s thing, because that was the shit back in the day for a lot of people. They had the Star Wars Dukes of Hazzard, those like hard metal fucking lunchboxes.
Yup, I had
a Ken Shamrock lunchbox actually.
Ooh, I had a Dukes of Hazzard one for a while. And if any of us knew, we would have kept those things, because some of those things are worth mega money right now.
I didn't know that, but I do know that I've seen a lot of like, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine to go like watch some of those where they go to like thrifting videos where they go to like a Goodwill or like a flea market or whatever. And there's usually always a lot of those, like the old school lunch boxes. So if anybody's looking for a come up, if you're saying that they're worth some money, that might be a place to look.
Well, I just know at 5 years old, I had a lunchbox with a Confederate flag on it and brought it to school. No one said a word.
I'm gonna have to start a Twitter campaign about this.
What? It was
hashtag boxed out.
Wiz had a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox too, and a Batman.
But I mean, Wiz is kind of openly racist. I mean, we thank you for joining us, Wiz.
Christopher K. said the super plastic, dude. They didn't have plastic lunchboxes when I was a kid, man. We had the old school metal ones with the the punched out shit in them. I know I had a Scooby-Doo one at one time. I can't even remember all the ones I had. They were shit. You bring them out in the rain twice, and they would be rusted to hell. Fucking, they sucked. And they were cheap though, man. That's why they were cheap. So, but back to Jungle Boy winning. About time. I really think this guy deserved, and I loved the, when you had all the rest of Jurassic Express come out there and give him a hug. That was pretty cool shit. I thought it was really good. I just really think that Jungle Boy winning is a good thing. Now he gets a match against Omega. 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. That is the deal.
Yep. So there you go.
It was also pretty cool to see everybody, that was the first time that they brought him out full crowd with theme music.
Right.
The Baltimore Jungle, or whatever the fuck the song is, but it's by Baltimore.
I believe it's Tarzan Boy.
Tarzan Boy, yes. That's it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's just get this out of the way. So they do this amazing Memorial Day tribute, right? Mm-hmm. Seriously, it really was. It was a great Memorial Day tribute. Memorial Day was the day after this, obviously. Not insulting your intelligence, just stating the fact that it was. So we had this Cody versus Anthony Ogogo match. There was no way on God's green earth of America that the American Dream was losing this match after that tribute that I saw. No way in hell that it was happening. You could have just played the national anthem during this whole match. Because he was not losing.
Like as a tribute to New Jack, instead of playing Natural Born Killers, you just play the national anthem. That would suck because everybody would have to stand up for the entire match. So if they made the match 25 minutes long, you'd have a lot of tired people on your hands.
Oh, well, they were standing anyway, Smark. It's Cody match.
I was standing too because how else are you going to get to the bathroom? You have to stand up.
You're right. You're right.
Which ironically, I had told you that he announced when he announced the match that he announced a piss break, but it really just so happened to turn out that I really did need to go to the bathroom before his match. So I was like, well, this works out perfectly for everybody. I mean, I saw a good deal of it, but it did make me laugh because he came out and he had this the fucking ridiculous, almost like a Bret Hart, the Sgt. Pepper jacket that Razor Ramon likes to make fun of or Scott Hall likes to make fun of. Yep. But he had this full-on fucking regalia. And the Titantron or the entrance video, whatever you want to call it, are just all these shots of people waving miniature flags and the sun's coming up over a wheat field, and it's just the most ridiculous fucking pandering. There's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from, but it was just the most 1980s just attempt for cheap pops in the world. Mick Foley would have been proud.
If I could quote Christopher Kane, Cody was sucking his own dick in this whole match, from entrance to bell, just ridiculous, man. Like I said, there was no way he was going to lose. I mean, listen, if you're going to put a bad match on the card, it wasn't really bad. It was just, and I got to tell you, and I don't have a problem with Anthony Ogogo. I actually think he's got some talent. I know he's on borrowed time. Don't know if it was a good idea to announce that he's 75% blind in one eye. I know that. I know we know it. I know we talked about it, but we're just a little podcast. I know bigger podcasts probably talked about it, but mention it on television might not have been the best thing to do. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think that plays for them, though. I think that works out well for them because that's adversity that he has to overcome. So, that's a kind of a way. Well, it's weird because he's the heel, so I guess you don't want people getting behind the heel theoretically, but people are going to know anyway, I think. I was kind of having the same problem because we were with Cesar Baroni was wrestling Darby Allin on Dynamite Friday. And it's just kind of, he's a heel, but it's hard to get behind him being a heel. It's kind of hard to boo him or want him to lose when, you know, you find out that his wife is battling cancer and everything. It's like, fuck this guy. But that's the thing, though, is like they're fans. We talked about it. They're a more internet savvy fan base. So it's like people are going to know anyway. If they don't know, if they don't already know coming in, they're going to hear people talking about it amongst themselves in the crowd, you know. So like people are going to know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I'm not offended. I'm not pissed about it. I'm on the fence about it. But I'll tell you what, this was one match I was really looking forward to, was this Miro versus Lance Archer match for the TNT Championship.
I have to retroactively go back in regards to this Cody Rhodes match. I just saw Sam wrote, "Oh, say can you see a shitty match?" Which is, I'm pretty upset that I didn't come up with that, but that is wonderful.
That is good. I just saw that too. Miro versus Lance Archer for the TNT Championship. Jake, at one point, came down with what was supposed to be the snake in the bag, and Miro just threw that motherfucking snake.
It's a way to get PETA on their ass, isn't it?
I'm sitting there going, I hate to tell you, but listen, I'm all for. I love me some animals, but the only good snake to me is a dead snake. I don't like snakes.
God, I thought you were going to say I love some animal cruelty, but this is going too far.
No, love animals, but I can't say I would not want a snake anywhere near me. I am deathly afraid of snakes. They scare the shit out of me, man. They scare the hell out of me.
Kind of reminds me of the scene in UHF. Because I've been watching that. I watched that the other day again. And, like, there's a scene where there's this guy who has a TV show. It's like a pet show. It's like, today we're going to be teaching poodles how to fly. He's like, you ready, Fluffy? 1, 2, 3. He chucks the fucking thing out of the window, and, like, they cut to, like, Weird Al. And he's like, he's talking to the station manager. He's like, where did you find this guy? And he's like, I thought you found him. And it's just like, they just stare at each other for a minute. This kind of reminded me of that. With just random animal cruelty.
Huh. Nice. There you go. But Miro did, of course, retain. He made Archer pass out, which I thought it was better. Archer passed out instead of tapping out. Pretty good move there. Pretty good move. They announced All Out for Labor Day weekend, Smark, Sunday, September 5th in Chicago.
That's right.
There you go.
You bet your bottom dollar you're losing Chicago. So are we? This is to start the rumors again. We're getting CM Punk, yeah.
Of course. Okay, I mean they're in Chicago. Of course they are. Oh, if Cody even brings it up, I hope someone's there to slap the shit out of him. Anyway, we kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier. Britt Baker, DMD with Rebel versus Hikaru Shida. Baker had a little Scott Hall tribute gear on. That's who she was tributing with the colors and the gear. And I got to tell you, Smart, both you and I have both been saying that it's time to move the belt. It's time to change the belt. Shida has done nothing to move the needle anymore. I'm not saying Britt Baker is this savior that's going to move the needle, but I definitely think having the title on her is a great move. It was time, a great match. And I like listen, Schiavone said he was going to give her a hug if she wins, and he was right there to do that. And not quite sure what he said to her, but I'm sure it was a very heartfelt thing from Tony Schiavone.
Sure. Well, hugging you is better than hugging Conrad. That's what he whispered.
Oh, all right.
You smell way better than that Conrad guy.
Don't mind that hard thing coming out of my pocket. You deserved it. Bye.
You deserved it. So there you go. That's and now as I try to get the mental image of Tony Schiavone just being rock hard out of my head, thank you for that one. We were going to talk about Britt Baker, apparently. I mean, I think the thing is, like, it's just clear and obvious that she's sort of the right way to go there. She's sort of been the most consistent. She's maybe not the best wrestler out of everyone, but she's kind of the most entertaining. She cuts really good promos. She's puts on interesting matches. They're entertaining. She's usually never boring, and I think she's definitely what they need right now because she just wasn't getting it done. Like, she was having all right matches, but she hardly ever cut any promos. So you didn't really know anything about her or what her motivations were. And that's not really who you want to have as a face of your women's division. And then especially like during the pandemic, it seemed like she almost exclusively wrestled Nia Rose.
Right.
Or Nyla Rose, rather. So it's like, it's kind of hard to get a good match there too, but it wasn't the best of runs. So it was just time for something new.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, she has definitely. I mean, look, I wasn't a fan of hers when she came in, but Britt Baker has really grown on me. Like you said, she's been cutting some great promos going out there, and it was the right thing to do at the right time. She is going to be a really good champion for that company, in my opinion. She's a great face for that company. So, I don't know, man. I think they got a really good thing going on right there with her. So, but I'm really happy they decided to do this with her. I think it's a really good move on the company's part to do this. I mean, she's going to go out there every week, and a lot of these promos write themselves. So,
for sure, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get to this Sting match real quick. Smark. Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. It was at this moment where I looked on the TV and saw overexcited Brock Lesnar fans sitting by the ramp.
Ah, nice catch.
Yep. I saw him there in his overexcited Brock Lesnar t-shirt. It's not actually a Lesnar t-shirt. It's that goldish, silverish Jerry Lawler t-shirt that he probably bought from Jerry.
I am so relieved because I thought you were going to say he had a picture of himself, like somebody drew a cartoon of him like overreacting to Brock Lesnar, and it's a T-shirt now, and he wears his own merchandise.
I'm sure there's somewhere out there's a T-shirt of that. I got to tell you, man, I liked this match. I'm not going to say it was a bad match. It was a little clusterfucky at times, but wow, when Ethan Page threw Darby from the ring over the barricade into the crowd, not from the apron, from inside the ring threw Darby Allin into the crowd over the guardrail. Dude, that was some risky shit, man. 1 inch too short, 1 inch too far. Your career is done. Maybe your life.
Right. Kind of a la Spike Dudley in ECW just being fucking chucked into the crowd.
Oh.
Apparently he threw him at his brother. So
right.
That doesn't, it makes it a little bit safer, or at least has the security of knowing that he's going to try to catch him. So there's that at least.
Yeah, that's great. But when you launch a person that far, thinking, without, any, dude, you can do that 50 times, and it's that 51st time you do it, something goes wrong. It's right. Listen, I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad Darby's okay. But when I saw that, I'm just like, oh my God, man, that's just a ridiculous move to do. But cool part of that match was hearing the crowd chanting, "You still got it" for Sting, because I got to tell you, I thought Sting was coming in mainly to do cinematic matches. I didn't know how many, if any, live matches we were going to get out of Sting. But I thought this was a great match. Sting looked great in this match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I've never been like the biggest Sting fan outside of when he was with the Wolfpack, because I was always a big Wolfpack fan as a kid for whatever odd reason.
Ow.
But
there you go.
Like Yeah, the other day, like Wiz and I were kind of reminiscing over the idea of like back in the day when you used to go online and you would have to like wait 2 or 3 hours to download like a shitty quality like 20-second wave file of a wrestler's theme song.
Yep.
Like I definitely had the Wolfpack version of that. But anyways, to get back to the point, like Sting being fucking 60 years old, he was he was actually pretty incredible. We got a dive out of him. He dove from the ramp onto Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. So that was cool. They had that spot where Darby Allin and Ethan Page were both in a submission hold and they started clawing at each other. That was pretty nice. There was a couple of other things, like you said, him being thrown into the crowd was pretty incredible. Like Darby Allin and Ethan Page have some really good chemistry because I've seen them wrestle each other when they were on Evolve together. And at first I thought that Ethan Page was like the star of that match, but then I started to watch both of them wrestle and I started to realize that perhaps somebody else was helping somebody else a little bit more than the other one. But they have good chemistry. They have really good chemistry together. And like I said, for Sting being in his 60s, like it was a really fucking good match. I even liked the way that he had his face paint done and it was like starting to smear over time,
right?
So like the black and the white were blending together and it was like creating this gray, and he just looked like he was like this kind of beaten down superhero that was still just in it for one like final fight. It was like just the cinematography of it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Darby came down with the sting lines on his face, on the face paint. Just a pretty cool little match. And you know, I know this was kind of a nostalgic kind of match for a lot of people, and it was kind of the feel-good. That's kind of what it was put out there for, was the feel-good match of the night. I think it got over as that, and I think it was actually the right thing to do at the right time to just get the crowd once again on a good note and hyped up for the co-main event coming up here. So
there was a lot of people that were predicting sort of Miro versus Archer to be the sort of show stealer of the night. And I would have been one of them going into the show, but I think after, you know, everything played out the way that it did, I would actually say that this might have been the sort of show stealer of the night. I had kind of low expectations going in, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought it was a really good match.
Most definitely. Yeah, listen, man, like I said, you're not going to find a bad match on this show. It was just, like I said, top to bottom, an excellent pay-per-view. No backstage bullshit, just literally match to match to match to match to match. Yeah, we got a little, you know, we got an announcement for All Out. We got an announcement for Full Gear, November 6th in St. Louis, Missouri. We got the Mark Henry announcement that he's going to be the new analyst for AEW Rampage and a coach. But I got to tell you, you can laugh at Mark Henry all you want. The guy got a hell of a pop from that crowd.
Yeah, he did. And I was seeing people that were kind of complaining, lamenting, you know, why was it Henry? Why wasn't it like Mauro Ranallo? Or why wasn't it this guy? Why wasn't it that guy? And I mean, I get the sentiment behind it, but like the idea is that he is supposed to be a commentator on like sort of the B show. Right. Like they're not going to pay top dollar to get like a real solid top level elite announcer to do what essentially amounts to their thunder. Like they already have Schiavone, they already have Champ Ross, they already have Excalibur and Taz and all these other people, and presumably at some point they're probably going to make a run at Joe. So it's like you don't really how many more announcers, you know, they really going to have out there. But I don't know, like. Yeah. I don't know if I would have made the play to sign him if I were them, but I'm sure that, they see value in him that I might not. So we'll see what that ends up, doing for them.
Well, he wants to do more. So I mean, listen, oh shit, I think there was a video on here that I was going to play. That's why I put it up there. Give me a minute. While we're talking about the Mark Henry thing, let me pull that up real quick because there was a Twitter video on there that I was going to play. So I don't have to say what he said. He kind of gave a reason for the reason he left. Mark Henry, he seems like a really good guy. I don't fucking know him from Adam, but seems like a really good guy. And I'll tell you what's really funny is pretty much all the guys that Randy shit on that Legends show have all gone to AEW. I always call it WCW. I guess I'm kind of close. Just waiting for this.
I will never forget that promo. That was like maybe the height of Mark Henry for me, unfortunately, for him. But just Orton on the Legends night, just coming up to him and basically just being like, "You're a fat piece of shit, and what are you going to do about it?" He's like, "I'm going to get away from you. That's what I'm going to do about it." And he just pushes his sad little scooter along, just head down in shame.
Just wheeled himself away. Let me pull up the actual Twitter page for this. Maybe it'll load faster than comicbook.com.
Oh, Jesus. Weeble says somebody better give Mark a heads up about Nyla Rose.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Good Lord. Give the man a break.
Got a penis.
Oh, here we go.
That was a very ill-advised segment, especially nowadays. But just him saying the word penis in his like kind of southern accent was pretty fucking incredible.
All right, let's see. This video is 4 minutes long. It started. I can't stop it, so I'm looking for the... Here we go. I can stop it now. Hold on 1 second here.
My deal was up. And this is not something that was, recent. Like I go back to 5 months, 6 months. I want a position in the office, and I want everything that comes with it. And
you wanted a position in the office with the WWE?
Yes.
Okay.
And I talked to Vince himself, and he said, "Write it up." He was like, "You're
okay." This is obviously busted open with Bully Ray, so just wanted to throw that out there. That is Bully Ray. So just here we go.
You're somebody that I'll hear from, I'll listen to, and I was told that there was a lot of cleaning house, and there was a lot of cuts that were happening, and there was a lot to come.
Cuts. He said cuts.
Did he say cuts?
I think he intended to say cuts, but it certainly did not sound like cuts. It sounded a lot like cuts.
Yeah. Let's okay.
There was a lot of cunts that were happening. There was
hundreds of people in the company go. And I still felt like, knowing this, I feel valuable enough that I'm not going anywhere. Well, that's cool. But when your deal comes up and the rights, the legalities part of it comes up to where you're going to go next and what you're going to do, I felt like I wanted to do more. I always wanted to do more. You know me. I'm a busybody. If I'm not doing what I know I can do, and especially if I think I could do it better than somebody else, and I can't get that opportunity, then I have to start looking for that opportunity somewhere else. And I did.
Okay. All right, that's pretty much where I wanted to go with that. I didn't want to play the whole thing. But there you go. He wanted to do more. WWE basically told him, your career is done. You're doing nothing. You're in the Hall of Fame. What else do you want? What else do you want from us? What else can we do for you, Mr. Henry? So he decided, he wants to do more, so he can do more here. He was trying to get a backstage thing going on. It didn't work. And there you go. So, I wish him all the luck in the world over there in AEW. We'll see what happens with him. But anything on Mark Henry? Smark?
I believe that he is the first person born after 1950 to use the term busybody.
Probably.
I was also really impressed that he nailed the word legalities, but cuts were the tricky one.
Well, when you're thinking of I don't know what he was thinking of. You're right.
How was your time in WWF, Mark? There was a lot of cunts there. Like, okay, well, tell us how you really feel.
Well, the budget cunts.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people that agree with him after today that in budget cunts.
Well, that damn Texas accent will get you every time when you're saying weird words. Anyway, let's go with that. We got 2 more matches here, and then we're going to, like I said, really not a lot on NXT. Quick. We had Pac versus Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega. This triple threat was for the AEW Championship. Listen, those 3 names I mentioned, there was no way this was going to be a bad match, but there was also no way in hell the AEW Championship is going to be the first championship to come off of Kenny Omega.
No. Theoretically, that's probably going to be the last one, the way that they're going to build it.
Right. And it should be. If all is done correctly, it should be the last one to come off of him. But, as predictable as this match was still a fast-paced banger of a goddamn match. A great match
Absolutely.
with these 3. Go ahead, Smart Guy. Your mic cut out for a half a second there.
Oh, no, I might have just been a little bit too far away. But, yeah. Well, that was the thing. Was like I was kind of saying before, is people were just automatically, and I totally get it, they were just exhausted by the idea of another fucking multi-man match for a championship after, WWE has them seemingly every week. But my kind of theory on that was just, give them a chance because it's a different company. It's going to be a different layout to the match. And, it's not going to be the same at all. And it wasn't. It was a lot better. It was a lot more compelling. It was a lot more easy and fun to watch. That they did a good enough job, like you said. I don't think anybody really thought that the title was going to change hands, but they did at least enough of a job of kind of getting you to maybe suspend disbelief for a couple of minutes, which is always the goal. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring up my favorite thing of the night, which is always going to be, regardless of what happens, salty Jim Ross. So you have Pac is in control of the match, and he says that this young man is hoping to bring the title back to Wales. And Excalibur immediately cuts him off and says, well, actually, he's from Newcastle. And Jim Ross goes, well, thank you for correcting me on air. I always appreciate that. I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Because you just hear like Excalibur just kind of shut up for a minute, like he got yelled at on the car ride by his parents. So it was like the awkward silence was amazing.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, Jim Ross can put out some gems every now and then. I didn't even hear that, but I'm glad you caught it.
Oh yeah, it was great. I loved it.
That's good right there. But yeah, man, this match, like I said, you put those 3 names in a ring together, it's not going to be a bad match. Orange Cassidy was probably the most over in the match, more than Kenny Omega, I hate to tell you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and dude, you realize what they've done with not only Orange Cassidy, but Britt Baker. They've made stars. They've made some stars in this company.
Yeah. Absolutely, and like in-house homegrown talents too.
Well, yeah,
because Orange Cassidy, obviously, he got over on the independents, but it's an opportunity that they've made him their own.
They brought him in. They made the moves. They've made him not yet a face of the company, but I could definitely see one day Orange Cassidy being that guy and speaking while doing it. They've made some stars in that company, and they're trying to do the same thing with Hangman Adam Page, and I think in due time they will do what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to, a long time ago, Jericho promised they were going to make him a huge star in that company. So we'll see. We will see. But that was a great match, and this led to another incredible match. The Stadium Stampede once again, Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. What an entrance for the Inner Circle. They looked a little scared.
Well, that's kind of the interesting thing is apparently Chris Jericho's afraid of heights.
Oh.
So big on him, like a lot of credit on him for having the balls to go through with it and probably even suggest it.
Yeah, and again, they were rappelling down the scoreboard. That was good shit right there. One more good. I mean, Conan was in there as the DJ, and I really thought that them finishing the match in front of fans was a very smart move. I don't know what you think, but I think that was the way to go.
Yeah, it was very interesting because it was sort of oddly appropriate because it was kind of like it reminded me of that scene in the Wizard of Oz where they like transition from black and white to color. It was kind of like a transition of like how we're through for the most part with Pantera era matches. Old Dimebag Daryl out there. Pandemic era matches. We're through with the sort of pandemic era of wrestling. We're starting to get crowds back. So it started, sort of a pre-taped cinematic match, and then it ended in front of a live crowd. It was almost like you were watching a transition, like a shift in time take place before your very eyes. It was pretty cool.
I thought it was. Now, I got to nitpick one thing. At one point, it was Guevara and what's his name? Sean Spears. In the back, they were fighting. It was a pre-recorded segment. First of all, I love that they did the chair. I know he's the chairman. He was in the chair room. But the fact that they were using the chairs like swords for a good minute there, like a Star Wars scene, well, it was fucking chairs like lightsabers even. I thought it was a pretty cool little scene. They're in there. Sammy gets handcuffed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he sees the bolt cutters, right?
Yes.
They go down in the ring. Sammy comes down there. I really believe they should have still had the handcuffed on his left wrist.
Yeah, that'd be fair. I think what stood out, we both kind of honed in on the same thing, the same scene, but just for different reasons. Because, I just immediately accept the fact that this is a cinematic match, so there's things happening that don't normally happen in regular matches, and things are getting silly and goofy and whatever, and I enjoy it. I have fun with that. But, the moment that you had mentioned with, oh, God, I completely just blanked, Sean Spears sitting there with, surrounded by all of these chairs, Sammy Guevara walks into the room and sees this. He basically triggers a cutscene like in a video game. You open a door and, here's this boss in front of you.
Right.
So, tactically speaking, if we really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of this was a bad strategy by Sean Spears, because you are sitting there just waiting for somebody to stumble upon you. What if nobody did? Then you just left your team a man short. Somebody just sees you, kind of peeks through the door, sees you're there, fucking closes the door, locks the door. Now it's 4-on-5. Or somebody didn't even notice you at all. You're potentially leaving that out there for chance. I know, I get the idea that I'm overanalyzing this and it was supposed to happen that way and all that kind of shit.
Right.
But it just made me laugh where if you look at the strategy of it all, that waiting for somebody to find you in your dimly lit room surrounded by chairs is a weird call.
Well, he was banging the chair. He was calling them in. Warriors, come out to play. Bottles clinking. Warriors. See, he was calling them in by banging the chair on the ground. He was doing the Warriors thing.
They kind of paid a little bit of an homage to the Warriors anyway with those vests.
True.
Leather vests on the end of the inner circle.
True. And I did like those vests. And I don't know, man. I just thought this was well done. Again, they bring the, match into the ring, and Sammy ends up getting the win, which they treated Sammy like the hero, which he was of this match, man. He was very much the focus of this match. Once again, I think they're going to make a star of that kid, too. And it's well-deserved.
Right. You also got some cameos in there, too. They were brawling in the Jaguars weight room, I guess.
Yep.
You saw Urban Meyer, the head coach, was out there. And they went into a club that was, for whatever reason, it was open. like there was no game going on, but the club was open. They beat up this random extra, and then you keep hearing this music, and it turns out that the music is being controlled by DJ Conan, which was pretty wild.
I just want to know why Tully Blanchard looked like he just left the Blue Oyster Bar.
He looked a lot. He had some like Rob Halford-esque vibes going on because he had like the cut off T-shirt and he had the bandana around his neck, and he sort of just looked. He looked like like an old biker that was into a particular lifestyle, if you will.
You Police Academy fans are going to get that Blue Oyster Bar reference.
Yes.
Do you get it
I
at
don't
all?
watch Police Academy. It's in my wheelhouse of things because I like Airplane, I like Naked Gun, so I feel like I like Police Academy, but I don't think I've ever gotten around to it.
Probably. And I commented on a question the other day that was, who would you want to read your obituary? And mine was Bobcat Goldthwait in full character. Just full Bobcat reading my obituary. That's who I would want.
Good one.
That's who I would
I
want.
think I would want like sort of like a contrast. So I want like just alternating, taking turns in between, like a combination of like Bobby Anthem and Andy Dick.
Oh, there you go. Now my friend had a good one because it said dead or alive. So my buddy Rigel chimed in and said, for you, my man, Kinnison would be the one." And I was like, "Man, that'd be great too." I said, "But I would rather Bobcat. I think Bobcat would be more funny. Just full Bobcat character, making noises, snorting, coughing, doing the old Bobcat stuff. I like me some Bobcat Goldthwait, but I don't know
Actually,
how we.
yeah, I've watched some of his stand-up. I actually kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's pretty interesting. I like him.
I've got some audio of some of his old stand-up, and it's just, full Bobcat. Not, it's just amazing. You turn on, you watch Blow, and he's just a completely different character. But it's pretty funny, But good comedian, man. Always had good stuff. But Inner Circle did end up winning this match. Guevara got the win. Like I said, Guevara, I believe they're going to make a huge star of this kid. One day he is going to spread his wings, and they are not going to have a choice with Guevara. They're going to have to let him go.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. Is like Dirk and I were talking about what we thought was going to happen because he was like, Inner Circle is winning for sure, right? And I was like, yeah, I would think so. Especially because the whole stipulation then breaking up if they were to lose. But then the more I started thinking about it, and I was like, Santana and Ortiz were at least coming into this an established tag team. They're one of the better tag teams. They're like within probably my top three just in the world in general of top tag teams. And it's like they could stand to kind of go at it on their own. It's going to be about time for Sammy to start getting his solo push. So like the more I started thinking about it, like everybody except for maybe Hager would have been kind of better suited maybe if they were to be on their own, because it's starting to be about that time. So I started thinking about, maybe there is a possibility that they'll have them lose, but obviously they didn't. But at the same time, I think you do need to start kind of exploring some other opportunities for the rest of the group.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, we were all hoping that whole Sammy thing was going to happen when when MJF was going in. They kind of gave us I'm not going to say a swerve, but they sort of went a different way with that thing and gave us the whole Pinnacle storyline. But we do now have we did say Guevara was definitely going for a babyface turn, and we got that, but all of Inner Circle turned babyface. I realize that. Don't think I don't know that. But Guevara is definitely going to be one of the breakouts right there. They are going to make a star out of that kid. And like I said, one day he's going to get a call, and he's going to want to spread his wings, and I really hope they don't stop him. I think that kid's going to get the call from WWE one day.
Yeah, potentially.
Yep, I think it will happen.
I don't know if they would really want him on the same roster as Sasha Banks, but
Well, they've talked according to him. So, once again, fucking you bastard. He apologized
Well,
so
I
many
can't
times.
take full credit for it because I saw what it was triggered by what Weeps brought up in the chat. So,
oh, very true, very true. But I mean, he's apologized so many times. But anyway, like I said, great pay-per-view, top to bottom, no bullshit, no backstage bullshit, just match after match after match, and I really, really enjoyed it. Smark, what about you?
yeah, I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. Just, I mean, like you said, there wasn't really a bad match on the show. There was matches that sort of had differing variables of interest. I wasn't, too enamored with the whole Cody Rhodes match or whatever. The whole feud itself wasn't all that interesting to me, but for what it was, even that match itself was pretty solid. So, all in all, I'd give it a big thumbs up.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, NXT, Smark. Let's get through this pretty quick here. I don't have too much on NXT. The beginning match was really good. It was the triple threat with Kyle O'Reilly, Gargano, and Pete Dunne. It was a great match, and then Adam Cole had to come in and fuck it all up.
Yep.
Seriously, let's just be honest. It was a great match. Cole came in and fucked up the whole match. Cole was a big part of the night, as was Regal. Regal was a big part of this show also.
He was. Especially during the very beginning. Well, not the very beginning, but like the first couple of segments. Because like you said, they had Adam Cole come out and he got interfered in the match. And then you had, right after that, what was her name? Amber Moon came out to challenge Raquel Gonzalez. And you had Regal have to come out and try to break that up. And then, so we got a very Regal heavy edition of NXT. It seemed like they were trying their best to kind of, we talk about all the time about why the show is good, but the ratings are terrible. And it seems like this is maybe an attempt for them to try to get better ratings. They're trying to make the show a little bit more frenzied and chaotic and unpredictable in hopes that'll kind of get people's eyes on them a little bit more. Because it seemed like there was a lot of stuff going on compared to usual.
Yeah, you got a point there. There was a lot of stuff, and you're right. Regal did have a lot to do with this show because of all the stuff going on. There was a lot. I got to tell you, the first half of the show was very violent. A lot of violence, and Regal was pissed. A lot of Regal just fucking had that face that I'm gonna kick your ass. I would not want to have Regal have that face at me, fake or fucking real. It would just scare me a little bit. But
well, yeah, he wasn't trying to go out. He wasn't trying to go out like Adam Pearce. He was gonna get his fucking respect. You weren't gonna chump out William Regal. He just made me laugh because he was like, "Oh God, what else can go wrong?" It's like you guys keep fucking interrupting my show.
Yeah, exactly.
I did like that, though, because like I said, you had Amber Moon come out to challenge Raquel Gonzalez, and while Regal's like fighting, trying to break them up, or not trying to break them up, but trying to keep Gonzalez out of the ring from Amber Moon, you had Dakota Kai come out and basically just stomp the shit out of her.
Yeah.
So, like, meanwhile, Regal not being any wiser to it. So that was kind of cool that they went that route. And then, of course, it makes me laugh because this is typical WWE interviewer questions, because they cut to Mackenzie Mitchell, I think it was, backstage with Amber Moon, and she's basically just like, "So Amber, you got stomped the fuck out. Any thoughts?" And it's just like, what do you expect her to say in that moment?
Well, that's how they are, man. You know what they are. But we went through all that shit right there, and like I said, Cole was a big part of this show, and at one point, he gets face to face with Karrion Kross, and it's the WWE edited audio, but I'll play it anyway. I can't do it justice, so here we go.
But hey, humor me. Tell me a story. Entertain me, Mr. Cole. Explain to me.
I would be happy to, Mr. Overrated. The truth is, you ain't Adam Cole, baby, and you never will be. Because this brand has done everything in their power to make you feel special.
You Well, you got the cool music, you got the lights, you got the fog machine, you got the girl. You know what they do to make Adam Cole feel special? They ring the freaking bell. Because on your best day, you couldn't lace my boots. You can't hang with me. You aren't on my level. And anybody who watches pro wrestling knows that. You want to talk about special, Cross? You are not special. I'm special. You're just the guy who has my property.
Adam, I can see what you're doing, and it's not going to work. You're trying to weasel your way into a one-on-one championship with...
Hey, Regal! Shut up! I don't care what you think. I certainly don't care what you think. This is about what I want to do. And what I want at TakeOver is everyone in the match. Give me Kyle O'Reilly. Give me Johnny Gargano. Give me Pete Dunne. And give me this gas station weasel, Adam Cole. And I promise you, listen to me very carefully, I promise you, no matter what kind of politicking you think you can do today until then, you're not getting out of this ass kicking.
All right. So there you go. That's pretty much it. They go back and forth. But, I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions on this promo. But I got to tell you, I thought it was well delivered, a great promo, and great line by Adam Cole. You know, you got the girl, you got the music, you got the smoke, but all they got to do for me is ring the bell, and I show what I can do. I like it. I like it.
I thought it was a good promo. It seemed a little bit like he kind of went to the CM Punk school of promos. It seemed like he was definitely delivering it in that same sort of cadence that Punk used to do, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just seemed like it was heavily influenced. But all in all, it was a good promo. Like, he delivered it passionately. The lines were good. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought so too. Really good stuff there, and I'm looking forward to seeing that match that they got right there. That's going to be another damn good one right there. We had Kushida go in the ring against Carmelo Hayes, his debut match. Don't know much about this guy. Do you, Smark?
I don't either. This is the first that we've seen of him on NXT. I know that much.
I guess he was formerly Christian Casanova on the Indies, but definitely put out a good performance. Kushida can get a good performance out of a lot of people, though, so wasn't really a surprise. We had that, and I guess, the next thing we really need to, that tag team match was something else, man, between those guys. Now, Smark, we're on the last little thing we got to talk about here. Just talk about this match real quick while I go pee, and then we'll wrap up.
No, which match is it that you speak of?
The MSK versus Legado del Fantasma.
Oh yes, okay. We could talk about this for a minute. Yeah,
Be right back.
Excuse yourself. This was pretty cool because the one thing that sort of stuck out to me about this match was that one of the members of Legado del Fantasma, I'm trying to remember which one it was, Raul Mendoza. Try that again. Raul Mendoza. There we go. Got it the first time. He came out, he had injured himself. So he came out rocking like basically a Mick Foley mask because it was like a face guard, but it was like black and it looked kind of leathery. So it looked like the old school Mankind mask that was kind of distracting. And that was what I spent a lot of time focusing on instead of necessarily the match itself. But the match itself was actually pretty good too. There's a lot of, both of them are high flyers, so you had a lot of cool spots involved. The end of the match, Santos Escobar tried to interfere, and you had the fucking Colossus guy show up. I forget what his name is. I'm trying to remember what his name is. Completely drawing a blank. But anyways, he ended up running into him. and the distraction off that ended up leading to MSK getting the win. So MSK retained their tag team championships, and basically they're just setting up a whole bunch of matches for the In Your House show that they're doing, the Takeover in Your House, which is going to be not this coming week, but the week after that. So they announced a bunch of matches there. It's going to end up being a 5-way for the NXT title with you have Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, and Karrion Kross is going to be in that too. So that's good. And then you got so there's a lot of different matches that they set up for the pay-per-view, which a lot of the builds came out of nowhere because they have only a little bit of time left. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of throwing everything together as quick as possible because it almost snuck up on them.
Well, it usually does. Well, I mean, they got a pay-per-view that just happened, and that's just the way it goes, man. But not quite sure. Again, I had to pee real quick, but that last match.
Oh well, what I mentioned mainly, the big takeaway for me, what I was saying, it was a good match because anytime you get like those two teams involved, they're both high flyers. You both get a lot of cool spots involved there.
Right.
But we had to discuss. I had to bring up the. What do you think of that Mankind mask? Essentially, that Mendoza was rocking.
I thought it was more Lone Ranger.
Oh, okay. That's a way to go with it.
I went a little Lone Ranger-ish. I thought it was kind of cool, though. But it noticed he had that on. Just not usually, but great stuff, man. MSK, once again, I wasn't very familiar with them as the Rascals back in Impact, but just a great tag team. Mendoza and Wild, those two guys are really, really good together. I liked Wild even back when he was DJ Z. I always thought he was a very talented guy. And it's funny, him and Sam Shaw back in the same company together, he damn near retired that guy, broke his neck.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, damn near did. And went on to cut a promo the week after saying how he cashes checks and breaks necks. So
there you go. Oh, by the by, one last thing which I think we should talk about. I feel like this would have been right up your alley. What did you think of the little segment where they had the way cutting a promo? It was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, not Indy Blackheart. I got combined people there. They were in the back cutting a promo, and Indy had her headphones on. She was just blaring a fucking Spotify playlist of 80s power ballads.
Ah, see, I didn't see that.
Well, yeah, so basically, Candice is cutting this promo, Indy's just like in her own little space and time, just vibing out with our big old headphones on. They was over-the-ear jobs, so they would stick out more. And she checked it out. Candice checked it out. It was like 80s power ballads. So she takes the headphones off of her. She yells at her for listening to bad music while she's trying to cut a promo. Scolds her for not being professional and all this. So Indy drops the headphones with the cell phone that's playing the music. And later on in the show, Dexter Lumis, of course, finds it, puts the headphones on, and he starts jamming to the 80s power ballads.
Nice. I want to know what love is. I want you to show
might have been
me.
One of the songs that they were playing.
Probably.
Like, it was definitely that shit that used to come on back in the day, like when you'd be watching TV at like 2 a.m. and it'd be like Monsters of Rock.
Oh, that's that good stuff. That's basically the song. I just a little bit of Mr. maybe in there. Air Supply. You got to have some Air Supply if you're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Van Wilder was listening to. A little Air Supply.
I miss those. I miss those old like compilation CDs, like the Time Life and shit. Or like there was one that they would play a lot here, where it's like called Going South, and it would be like all the best Southern rock hits. So it'd be like 3 songs on 5 discs. I'm just kidding, but that kind of shit.
There you go. I will guarantee you had some fucking Sweet Home Alabama on one of them motherfuckers. Oh,
absolutely. The fucking one song, Don't Give Me No Lies, Keep Your Hands to Yourself, that one.
More Skinnerd. Got to get more Skinnerd. Mm-hmm. A lot of Skinnerd. Guarantee a little bit of Skinnerd. Let's see, who else would they put on a Southern... Bad Company. You got to have some Bad Company on a Southern Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Seger's got to be on there.
Oh, but of course.
These are all bands I fucking listen to, by the way, so please don't think I'm shitting on any of them. I'm just
Oh,
thinking,
I know you wouldn't.
no, I'm just thinking Southern rock. Who else would you have on a Southern rock at this
Some
point?
Charlie Daniels too. I mean, I could actually.
Oh, yeah.
This is legit. Like, I could find you the list of songs here because it really was called "Going South." CD.
Good. We'll wrap up after that.
Okay, yeah, here we go. It's from Amazon, so I'm just pulling up the Amazon link and I'll read some of these songs here. We just got to find the details here. Da, 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 da. But in the meantime, talk about something else, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm still trying to think of some Southern rock. But again, you got to have some Bad Company. Bad Company goes on there. More Southern, because it was... You gotta remember that rock back then. We had that British invasion of rock, with all those guys and Sensible Sam says David Allen Coe. That's not the kind of rock we're looking Southern rock we're looking for.
I can and I found the list and it's on Amazon, but it's like for whatever reason not wanting to fucking give me this track listing because they would play this a lot. They would also, like, we were talking about, like, the fucking power ballads and the 90s alt rock where they play like Soul Asylum and shit like that. Or fucking Collective Soul. Like, for whatever reason, there was a run of bands that just had soul in their name.
You ain't got to find it, man. We can go ahead and wrap up. No big deal.
Yeah, no, I've been looking. And, like, I found the link to buy the fucking thing, but they don't have the track listing, so...
No, they just want you to buy it. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, man. We'll go ahead and... I think we probably nailed most... Oh, ZZ Top, they got to be on there, too. There you go.
Oh, yeah, some fucking LaGrange, of course.
Oh, yeah. Little tribute song there. So, all right, let's go ahead and knock this bad boy out. We can go ahead and hit the plugs one more time. The High Marks, it's Cheeseman, it's Mojo, it's G-Wiz. It is Sunday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is where you should be. Where should you be? Mixer.com/Metal Mint. That's right, 2 T's in Mint, Metal Mint Network. Mixer.com/Metal Mint Network. Check out the High Marks once again, Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. right there on the link I just mentioned. And, of course, we got Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, the Inhumans on the Inhuman Experience. Get on all of your Apple podcasts, your Googles, your everywhere you find podcasts. Go, subscribe, find them. You will not be disappointed. Once again, Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Great bunch of guys over there. You got, once again, Eric, Doug, Daniel, Clenneth, all those guys over there. Great bunch of guys. Again, they had me on there Saturday. Did a little prediction show for Double or Nothing. Had a great time. Find them on all the usual podcast platforms and Blog Talk Radio. Stephen Milan sharing the show. Find him over there reviewing films. letterboxboxd.com/Stephen Milan. Make sure there's 2 L's in Milan. And, of course, you can find us Stitcher, iHeart, YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, Smark. Roll it.
Of course. Also, a couple ones that we missed. There's George Thorogood. Molly Hatchet was the one I was surprised I didn't think of. Fucking Flirting with Disaster, 38 special.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so there's a list there. So there was a little bit, I felt bad leaving everybody on a cliffhanger there by not listing some of the bands and songs. Any hoozles. Mondays, 8:30 on the Metal Mid Podcast Network. You want to be sure to listen to Cheese on Sports with the Cheese Man. As well as G-Wiz is also there doing the UFC predictions. So shout out to him. Thank him for joining us tonight in the chat. And you want to be sure to listen to the Mo Dirk City Machine Guns with Mojo with Dirk every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Eastern Standard Time. Central Time Zone is fraud. Any hoozles. You want to also be sure to check out Planet on Tour. The Planet Raglan Tour podcast with Bobby Anthem. Gave us a shout out on the High Marks 2 weeks ago. Thank you for that. As well as Yuck Nasty and Papa Dave Sincere. All 16 episodes are available for your listening pleasure. And be sure to subscribe for Season 2. You can take them anywhere You take them to the beach, you can take them fishing, anywhere. Things are opening up now, so there's going to be more opportunities to be social, to commingle with the female species, and there is no better way to get them interested than the seductive voice of one Mr. Bobby Anthony.
There you go. Be ready to clean up afterwards. All right, folks, there you go. And Sensible Sam, it's all love right back to you. Appreciate everybody in the chat room tonight listening. Thanks for hanging. And we will be sitting right here Friday night, once again, talking wrestling. Maybe some more releases. You never know. We heard it ain't over. Maybe it ain't. We'll find out tomorrow. Later.
Adios.
See ya.
Adios.
Time to take your drunken ass home. It's all right. If you don't know what